And good afternoon, and welcome you once again to the today's presentation. And this session I'm going to cover the first part is documentation. Before going to that, I want to share a very important thing. I'm going to send the audit program prescribed by our ICI, and that PDF that I'll share to your mail ID, and large advances also I'll share to your mail ID. This is a thing I want to say, and here I want to start with the documentation, because documentation is a base based on which you are going to do the audit. It requires maybe in another half an hour we will complete this documentation. Then after that we'll go for the NPA. Okay. Now, what is a document? What is a document? That's a basic. See, this is a basic thing, but wherever possible I'll explain. And the basic thing is the bankers, they have to sanction the loan, and each and everything is a document. Let us take where the original document starts when you submit the application, and along with the application you have to submit the KYC norms, income tax records, and the projections, CMA, income tax acknowledgements. And after that, the manager, they sanction the loan. Further, they have to prepare the process note. That process note is a document to the banker, and they have to take the CIBIL. That is also a document. Then after sanction of the loan, they have to issue the sanction letter. That sanction letter itself is also called as a document. That sanction letter has to be acknowledged by the borrower. From the date on which the borrower has accepted the sanction terms and conditions, that the real document starts. Then they have to execute the pro note. Then they have to execute the agreement as per the term loan agreement. They have to sign all the forms that are related to term loan agreement. That are related to CC. If it is forex, packing credit loan, as well as the building. So then the legal opinion, then the valuation report. All are we termed as document. Everything should be alive. That's a basic thing. When the bankers, they want to give, they have already sanctioned the loan, and you want to operate the account, and all documents should be alive. So it is a duty of the auditor to see that all documents are alive. So this is a basic concept of document. Suppose if there is any discrepancy, and if it is rectifiable, you can rectify it. In case if it is not rectifiable, then you cannot enforce this before the court of law. You cannot file case anything before court of law. So that is why the document portion is very important. I'll highlight what are the important things so that we can go ahead with the next presentation. So kindly give attention towards document. One is, it's a written document. Everything is in the written. There is no verbal document. Everything is a written thing, and it has to be written in words and letters. It has to be written in words and letters. So 5,000 rupees only. So that is in words. Letters, rupees 5,000. That's, and it is a recorded evidence, and which can be produced before court of law. Because if the bankers, they want to file a case against the party, then it's a recorded evidence, and the court, they will immediately ask, what is the evidence that you have got? Then the bankers, they have to produce the document before court of law. So it's a recorded and as evidence as before court of law. Then it is a evidence as a contract. So where the real contract starts, when the borrower, where the real contract starts, you can put it in the chat box. See, what is the real, when is the real contract starts between the banker and the borrower? When the real contract starts. You can put it in the chat box if you have got, if you want, you can put it in the chat box. When is the real contract between the borrower and banker starts? Because you have to please involve. Huh? You can involve yourself. You can, whatever be the thing, according to you, whatever be the thing, you can tell. What is the, when signed by both. Yeah, Sanjuna, you said when signed by both. Where? You are almost touched. You have almost reached the point. So the offer is being given by the banker through the sanction letter that we are going to give the loan to you when subject to the following conditions. The borrower, he comes to the bank and he executes a document and say that, yes, we have agreed to the terms and conditions. That is a real starting point. So offer is done by the manager, bank, and is being accepted by the party. Then it's a real thing. Application is only a starting point. Here, only the borrower has signed, and it has not. It is only the borrower say that I have got willingness to get the loan. But where the real offer starts, when the manager, when the bank, they issued the sanction letter. Is it, Sanjana? Is it video hand?
So just now started.
Okay. It's maybe due to some network issue also, sometimes video may be hang. No problem. Sanction letter is the base to start the contract. So it's a contract between the bankers and customers, and it should be legally capable. When it will be legally capable? Only when all the terms and conditions have been fulfilled by the party, that is borrower, as well as by the banker. So it should be legally capable. And application is a starting point. Hemant sir, you are the base. I think you have touched the real thing. Application is a starting point for the contract. But application itself is a document. And in some cases, you have to see the party would have applied for 10 lakhs, but the bankers, they would have sanctioned the loan for 15 lakhs also. If you apply for 10 lakhs, if they sanction 5 lakhs, it is okay. But when you apply only for 10 lakhs, that is party has applied only for 10 lakhs, but the loan, they sanction for 15 lakhs. So that means this mistake you have to point out in your LFAR, or if it is a gross violation, that you have to give it in the main report. It is applicable for both the advances. It is applicable for both advances and deposits. It is applicable, that is document, it's a contract is applicable for both deposits as well as advances. And the bankers, they must know the legal position of the document, legal position of the contract. So what is the legal position? So that means they have to complete everything in order. So bankers must know the legal position of the document. Next one is care has to be taken at the time of lending. So what is the care? So in the sanction letter, they say that they put a precondition loan, precondition to be fulfilled before disbursement. So all those conditions have to be fulfilled by the party. But few bankers, what they do based on the contact with the party or based on the goodwill of the party, the bankers, they lend the money. They lend the money without even getting the documentation. Here, I want to say a very, very good example, and there's a very big example is, it's a partnership form. It is a partnership form. The bankers, they have sanctioned, that is head office, they have sanctioned the loan. And one of the partner, that is among two partners, one partner, he came to the branch and he said that, sir, the other partner is in Dubai. He is not here. The other partner is in Dubai, he is not here. I will sign the document and kindly release the fund because we need the funds for our business, because we don't want to spoil the business. Let him come after 3 days, then let him sign the document. So manager, based on the faith, what is it? Okay, because he has got the deposit of, memorandum of deposit at it is, that is, he has got the mortgage, he has released the funds after getting the signature from the one partner. So let us take, today is 29/3/2022. Today he has executed the document, one partner. 7th of April, that other partner, he came to the bank and he has executed the document. And what is the mistake? So this point you have to see from the audit. See, yesterday he has left to Dubai, 28/3/2022, he has left to Dubai, and he has reached India on 6th of April. He has gone to the bank on 4th of April and he has executed the document dated 29/3/22. Is that document is said to be valid or not? So there are two partners. One partner has executed the document on 29/3/2022. The other partner, he was at Dubai. He has returned on 7th, he has returned on 4th, for example, he has returned on 4th of April. And that day itself he has gone to the bank and he has signed the pro note and everything. Is it a valid execution? I think members can offer your views. Because the document is dated 29/3/2022. The borrower, that is one partner, he was at Dubai. So he was not there on 29/3/2022. So that is an invalid one. And if anything goes wrong, and if the existing partner, if the new other partner, if they sign on that day, that's an invalid one. So as an auditor, you have to be very, very careful whether all the partners present on the date of execution. So this you can get from the records. And suppose if he has got no password, no problem. But on the date of execution, all the partners must be there. In case if the other party has died, but the bankers, they release the fund, what is the position? Then the bankers, they were caught. So care has to be taken by the bankers at the time of lending. So don't take the document audit very lightly. You have to be very, very careful, because based on which everything is being done. And why do we need documents? It for the purpose of creation of charge. How many charges are there? How many charges are there? Equitable mortgage charge, EM charge. Second one is fixed charge, floating charge. Then pari passu charge. Then MODT, that is memorandum of deposit or title rates, and ROC charges. So for all this charge creation, a document is a must. So to create the charge, a document is a must one. Then it should be legally enforceable before court of law. So who has to find the mistake? It is the auditor who has to find the mistake. If there is any discrepancy in the document, you have to report it. And if they are able to rectify it, you have to give opportunity to the bankers to rectify it. Otherwise, you have to you have to report the same. If it is rectifiable, say in case instead of 52, they put 5 only. 2 has not been put. So you can allow the bankers to rectify, you put 2. So next one is a document is required to file a money suit. So the bankers, they have got the right to recover the money suit only. And there is another suit which the bankers, they can do. What is the type of suit? The money suit. Normally the party has borrowed 5 lakhs or 50 lakhs from the bank. The party has not paid the amount. So the bankers, they file the case before court of law, say that kindly recover 50 lakhs from the party. That is based on the DPN, they can do it. There is another type of suit that is available. There is another type of suit that is available. That is called as property suit, because they have given the collateral security. So based on that also, the bankers, they can file the case. So for that also, a document is a base. So money suit can be initiated only when the bank has got a proper document. Hemant sir, AOD is not renewed based on head office oral instruction. Hemant sir, I want to tell you, this is an audit. This is a loan given by the bankers. No head office stories. Because head office can give you lot of stories, but don't bother about the stories. Don't hear. And you have to do the audit based on the records available. AOD is also another document. If there is no life to the AOD, then that loan is said to be a bad one. You cannot enforce before court of law. Though you have got EM, you can file the case with the help of EM. That's a different issue. But AOD must be alive. The no head office will give you return instruction. If they say oral instruction and if it is being said by the manager, kindly get a letter from the manager, then we will see that manager will be in trouble. He will be removed. So no head office stories. 1000 NPA cases. Yes. That's why I said don't hear any stories of the bank. I think I know the bank because I know where you are going for the audit. In one bank, 1,000 NPA cases. For you, it is only one bank in 1,000 cases. In my bank, where I have gone lost in the month of, 2019, I have reported something around 1,898 accounts as NPA. And even my report is, a spiral bound I have given. So that is the NPA. And even if the account has become NPA, DPN should be alive. If there is no DPN, then all assets should be treated as loss asset. That I will come with when I explain the NPA. I will explain what is the need and importance of the document. It identifies the borrower, guarantor, securities, and amount of it. So the borrower you can find from the sanction letter. Who is the borrower? ABC, is it a firm or limited company or AOP or trust? And who is the guarantor for the loan? That is also clearly mentioned in the document. What is the security that they have to give to the bank? Whether it's a primary security or collateral security. Primary security is the security created out of the bank fund, out of the bank loan. Collateral security is the property owned by the borrower and given as security to the original loan. And what is the amount of the loan? That the documents say that the loan is being offered at 20 lakhs. So that is the amount of the loan. So it identifies borrower, guarantor, securities, and amount of loan. And it's a written evidence and not to be disputed in future. One can say that, sir, the manager has given the loan, but I have not executed any document. Then the borrower can escape. But when he said, and when he identifies and when he signed the document, then it is a written evidence that he has accepted for the contract, he has accepted for 10 lakhs loan. And if anything goes wrong, the banker, they can file the case before the court of law. And if it is not a written document, then they can dispute that this loan is not pertaining to me. So it's a written evidence and not to be disputed in future. And it's a documentary evidence to be produced before court of law. Same thing, because you have to enclose all things. There is a DPN and all forms. So term loan agreement you have to give, CC agreement you have to give, guarantor form you have to give, and even the bank statement, because from the date of sanction till they file the case, they have to take the printout and they have to enclose all that papers also, all that papers, and they have to submit the same before court of law. It's a documentary evidence before court of law to claim or to try the money suit. And it's a recording of events. What is a recording of events? 7th of April, he came to the branch. Both the borrowers, they came to the branch and they have accepted the sanction terms and conditions. On 9th of March, the document is being prepared and both the partners, they came and executed the document. It's a recording of events. They came to the bank and they have accepted. So document is, it is another importance is it's a recording of events, and you can go with the regular case if anything goes wrong. And incorporating protective class. So what is protective class? The bankers, they want to protect their money. So if the party goes wrong, then we have to file the case. Another protection is we will publish your name in the newspaper. And what is the protective class from the customer angle? The bankers have to fulfill the following conditions. If they have not fulfilled the following conditions, let us take, they have to release the funds on such and such date, and if they are not released, then the borrower will be in trouble. So the document, you can find both, you can find the protective class both applicable for the customer as well as to the borrower. Here I want to give one suggestion to the members, and even you can use this for your customer also. You please, after executing all loan documents, please take Xerox copy of the loan documents after execution. Normally, they will give you the sanction letter, but you have to take Xerox copy of the document, because we are signing all the documents blindly, even without reading anything. Even if you go to the bank and if you avail the housing loan, you blindly sign all the papers what they give. So you have to take Xerox copy of the all documents, because if anything goes wrong, and if the bankers, they file the case before court of law, you have to take the shelter. So unless until you have a copy of these document, then you will be in trouble. So please ask the customers to take the Xerox copy of the documents. Normally it is these documents can be used for the money suit. and decides the period of limitation. So we know that we already discussed about the period of limitation. DPN is valid for a period of 3 years. Is it, I just observe the question. Is it from the date of sanction of the loan, or from the date of execution of the document, or from the date of disbursement of the loan, or from the date of availment of the loan? So your pronote is valid for a period of 3 years. Okay, is it from the date of sanction? The date of execution of the document? Is it from the date of disbursement, or is it from the date of availment? What is your opinion on this? Because a very, very important thing. Subharav said, is it from the date of execution? Then Sanjana said from the date of sanction. Then actually the period of limitation starts from the date of execution of the document. Sanction is an offer given by the manager, and you cannot file the case based on the sanction letter. So what is the date that they mention in the pronote? That is called as demand promissory note. So here also another important thing is the DPN date. DPN date should be on or after the date of sanction of the loan. DPN date should be, this is also another important point that you have to take into your mind. DPN date should be the date on or after the date of sanction. You are not supposed to get the DPN before the date of sanction. That is invalid. So this is another important point that you have to decide. The DPN date should be on or after the date of sanction. And next one is, what is the importance of documents? You have to take everything in the proper format. So where we can find the format, proper format? So that is a book of instruction every bank has got. In that they say that for the term loan, in the following numbers you have to take the documents. For CC you have to take on this document. For bank guarantee this is the form. For LC this is the form. So you have to take all the signatures in the prescribed format of the head office. So you are not supposed to take anything on the white sheet. So whatever be the signature, it has to be obtained on the prescribed format of the bankers. Next one is stamping. Here I want to tell, nowadays the forms have been filled. Previously it was filled manually. So you will find only a less mistake. Now it's a cut paste. That means system, through the system they are preparing the format. So when they do the cut paste, for this customer, the other person's details would have been incorporated. You are the auditor. So you have to go through the columns. You have to go through the amounts printed through the computer. So the party would have got only 25 lakhs. That is, he has applied and has been sanctioned only 25 lakhs. But the previous party has availed only 10 lakhs. So when they did the cut paste, the 10 lakhs comes to this party. Instead of 25 lakhs, only 10 lakhs has come. So it's a very, very serious nature. So as an auditor, when you go through the document, and that too when they do it in cut paste method, that is through system, and they are preparing this format, you have to be very, very careful. So in most, suppose if you say that all documents are intact, and if anything goes wrong in future, then you are held responsible. So do the verification, just you spend just 10 seconds. You see if the loan is being given to Ravindran. So the Ravindran name should be there in the document and not Hemant name. Suppose Hemant would have got loan. In my document, Hemant name comes here. So what is it? Even the collateral security also would have been changed. So you have to be very, very careful. You have to see each and every line of the document. And stamping. How many stamps are available at the bank? How many stamps are available? Joseph sir, you are correct. How many stamps are available at the bank to execute the document? One is adhesive, that is special adhesive. Joseph sir has already put adhesive stamp. Second one is revenue stamp. Third one is non-judicial paper. So in that they can get the document to be typed, and even if there is any prescribed format, on the top of it, they have to affix the adhesive stamp, and all the adhesive stamps should be cancelled, either by way of affixing the seal or the manager, they have to cancel the adhesive stamp. But the revenue stamp has to be signed by the borrower in the DPN. It should not be cancelled. It has to be cancelled only at the time of closure of the loan. So adhesive stamp has to be cancelled. Revenue stamp should not be cancelled, and judicial paper, non-judicial paper can be used to take the printing of the forms. So in this you can have the this is a usage of the stamps. So next one is filling up. That means you have to properly fill all the forms. One thing you have to take care about the cut paste. And if it is done manually, okay. And it has to be done manually means the same officer with the same ink, he has to fill the form. So I'm going very slowly with the same, because it's a very, very important area. With the same ink, with the same person, he has to prepare the document. Today, one fellow has written 2 pages, and the next day, if the document is written by another person, then that document is said to be defective. Signing and execution. The party has to sign, the borrower has to sign all the documents. That means it is when he signed all the documents, that means he has executed the document. So signing and execution is very, very important. That is only after signing, execution part comes into the picture. And checking and vetting of the documents. So you are there to check whether all the pages have been duly signed by the partners or party, all the borrowers. Whether the sanction, even whether the guarantor has also signed the document. So whether this document is proper, has got the proper stamping in the form of adhesive, whether revenue stamp is being affixed on the on the DPN. So this is called as checking. And what is the vetting of the documents? Vetting of the document means whether all the documents have been obtained as per the head office norms or not. Normally, this vetting of documents is being done by another advocate other than the panel advocate. Now, I want to say a professional opportunity here. This vetting of document is being given to the chartered accountants by few bankers. So for that, they are paying you 250 to 500 rupees. Suppose if they got some 10 files per month, you will be getting some 5,000 rupees. Just you have to go through the sanction letter and you have to see all documents are being signed by all or not. And you have to give you a report for that. So vetting of document has to be signed by, at present, only few bankers, they are assigning this work to the chartered accountant. And almost all bankers, they are giving this work to the advocates. And that advocate should be a different person other than the regular advocate. Regular advocate means panel advocate. And it's a recording of evidence. It's a recording of evidence. And these documents have to be registered. So unless until you fill the form properly, it is not possible for you to go and register the same thing before registrars. So these documents have to be registered, then only it has got absolute right. Then for this, the bankers, they collect the document charges. So because they are using the bank's prescribed format, for that they are getting some, they are incurring some cost, and they are affixing the revenue stamp, they are affixing the adhesive stamp, and even they are using the bank stationery. For that, they say that for up to this loan, this is a document charge. They are collecting this document charge other than along with the processing fee. So processing fee is different, document charge is different. Processing fee is to process the loan, but here after processing the loan, these documents have to be executed. So they are collecting the document charges. And it should be, all documents should be kept under safe custody, and that too, all these documents should, they have to kept it in the joint custody. When you go to the rural branches, this you can find. When you go to the rural branches, when you ask for the documents, what they do, the peon or substaff, they will go and take the documents, because all those documents should be kept under the joint custody. But the substaff, we can go and take the document. That means you can clearly report that the documents have not been kept under the joint custody. So this is another important point, because when substaff has got the access to take the document, that's a clear indication that the documents have not been kept under the joint custody. And you have to see that all documents are alive. That means the DPN should be valid. And what's the document precaution is obtain full set of documents. See, today you have obtained DPN. Tomorrow you are obtaining for the term loan agreement. Day after tomorrow you are obtaining for the CC. It should not be there. Whenever they execute the document, before release of the loan, they have to get all the documents in full set. Borrower has come and signed, but guarantor has not come and signed. So incomplete. So everyone has to sign the documents, and you have to obtain all documents in full set. And it has to be properly filled. That is, no column should be left blank. That is, no blank documents. So even whenever you go to the bank, even you can find the manager would have released the loan, but he has obtained all the signature on the blank document. If that is there, then that point you have to give it in your report. And you have to fill the schedule of properties properly. Normally, when in my audit area, I found out that most of the banks, they are not filling the security schedule of properties properly. So as an auditor, you have to see whether all the schedules have been prepared, securities have been filled properly. And it has to be signed by the borrower or guarantor personally. And there should not be any person. Instead of borrower, someone has come and signed the document, that is an invalid one. That means the borrower has to sign the full set of documents individually or personally, as well as the guarantor. And now, what are the essentials of documentation? You have to write the correct name. What is the correct name? Is it as per PAN or is it PAN as per the Aadhaar? This question will come. And a company is being registered, in whose name the document has to be written. Is it in the name of the director or is it in the name of the company? So correct name. So the borrower's name should tally with the Aadhaar. The borrower name should tally with the Aadhaar. And if it is a company, the company name should tally with the ROC certificate. So this you can find in most of the cases, and there should be proper drafting. Next point is it has to be properly stamped. And security writing. What is the security writing? After writing the amount, they have to put the tape. So security writing. So that the figures will not be altered. So that is another essential. Next one is consideration of the amount. Consideration of the amount. Sir, by when will NPA discussion start? I have some unavailable work will rejoin. Thank you. And I think was send this. Vijay Pratap sir. In another now it is 4:30. I'll start. 4:30. I'll start with NPA, and I have already started to record, and you can join. No problem. Another 15-20 minutes. I will complete this. Then you can join. Consideration amount. So what is the consideration? Here, it's a very, very important thing that you have to take note of it. The loan is sanctioned for 20 lakhs. But in Pro Note, they would have written as 2 lakhs because they omitted to write that 0. They omitted to write that 0. So the consideration amount should tally, because they say that 2 lakhs is in the figures and 20 lakhs in the words. So consideration amount should be clear. Next one is terms of sanctions. All the terms of sanctions have to be incorporated in the documentation. And what are the other terms? That is also there, that I have to type it. And place and date, that is also very much important. And you have to see that all those documents are registered before the registrar. and it should be a valid one and legally enforceable one. And what are the care that you have to take while drafting the document is it has to be properly filled, and if there is any alteration, you have to get the counter signature of the borrower, either the sideway or the nearby that. So, and it has to be signed in the presence of the officer, and it should not be signed, and the form should not be signed at the home, and it has not be sent. And next one is it has to be written by the same person with the same ink at the same time. Even if you return the document after 2 days, also the ink color will differ. So it has to be written by the same person and say by the same ink. And the borrower has to put the full signature and not initial. So this is a very, very important thing, because they have to sign huge number of documents. So borrower, he may be very lazy fellow. Instead of signing the full set of full signature, he has put the initial. If he has put the initial, then that document is said to be invalid one. So this is another important thing that you have to take care. And date of place should be mentioned in the document, and the date tallies with the first installment. At least what is the first installment? Even the date of sanction is also first installment, but it should not be after the first installment. So the date tallies with the first installment. And don't put only after the loan amount. Suppose if you write rupees 5,000, that's all. Normally what we put slash and dash, 5,000 slash and dash. But you are not supposed to put rupees 5,000 only. So it should not be there in the document. And if there is a power of attorney, that has to be registered before the registrar. And enter the same in loan register properly. That means you have to verify the loan register, whether all loans have been entered in the loan register properly or not. And illiterate person, this is the thing. For the women, you have to get the RTA, that is right thumb impression. For gents, you have to get the LTA. For women, you have to get the RTA, that is right thumb impression. And for the men, you have to get the LTA. And witnessing. For each and every document, witness is must. Here, I want to raise a question. How many witnesses are required? How many witnesses are required for a document? That is, what is the total number of witnesses required for a document? Subbarao says 2, Sanjana 2. How many witnesses are required? I think we have got some 22 friends. Only 2 answers came. How many witnesses are required? Sanjana 2 and Subbarao 2. Then any other answer? Danny also 2. Then Vamsi, yeah, minimum 2. What's that? Power of attorney 2, agreement 2. Okay, Bharani said power of attorney 2 and agreement 2. Actually, the answer of Vamsi is correct. Minimum 2. So it can be even 10 also. This point you have to bear in mind. Normally, whenever we are preparing the partnership deed, we used to get the signature only from the 2 persons. So if you obtain only one thing, and when you go to the bank, when you see the document, only the manager is standing as witness. So that itself says that the document is defective, because the witness, as per the Witness Act, it is minimum 2. It is a minimum 2. And maximum, you can get any number of things as maximum. So minimum 2, this point you have to bear in mind. Another point I want to ask you is, there is a defect in witness. There is a defect in witness. Can this make the document as defective one? You have obtained a witness. Yes. Everything is correct. They obtained, there's some 3 fellows, they have signed and they stood as witness to the document. And among that, one witness is a defective one. So defective may be in the form of, say, yes, say V. Ravindran, son of, say, Kupusami. So initial never differs. That means the father name is written wrongly. So I have to be written as Vadivelu Ravindran. So V. Ravindran. My father name is Vadivelu. But instead, my father name is written wrongly in that document. Is it make the document defective one? Say you assume that it's a sale deed. For sale deed, you obtain some two witness. Among the two witnesses, one witness is a false one, is a mistake one. So the rule says a defective in witness make the document as defective. So you have to be very, very careful. If you see any defects in the witness, that will definitely make the document as defective. So witnesses where it is required, one is mortgage, another one is sale deed, for guarantee deed, power of attorney, assignment of instrument, and will. For that, this is required. What are the types of charges are available? It's a fixed charge and floating charge and pari passu. These are three types of charges available. And next one is stamping. So where now it is removed. So with reference to stamping, it is basically based on the it's a right of the state government. And this for the central government, they have got the powers. They say that DP note stamping, bill of exchange, LC, money receipt, stamping, share certificate, one has to get as per the direction given by the central government. Proxy also. But for others, other than the central government, all right goes to the state government. For the state government, mortgage, hypothecation, guarantee, pledge, power of attorney, partnership deed, agreements, and everything. What are the types of stamps available that I already discussed? Judicial, non-judicial, and adhesive. In the judicial, you can say that adhesive, special adhesive, e-stamping, and embossed. And valuation and cancellation. That is a stamp. So, okay, this is not required for the documentation. Actually, before execution, if the document is stamped, can we cancel it? Yes, we can cancel it. But the party, the government will pay you total value of the stamp minus 10%, they will pay you. So here, what is the value of the stamp? And non-cancellation or improper cancellation or unstopped. So a document is not cancelled or improperly cancelled, and if it is unstamped, then they are called as unstamped. And one signature has to be obtained outside the stamp. So in ProNote, you have to obtain a signature on the revenue stamp, and one signature other than the revenue stamp you have to obtain from the same customer. And the stamping is done outside India. So the stamp within 3 months after the same is reached India. Suppose if there any stamp, suppose if there is any notary was signed outside India, and if you want to execute that notary thing, suppose in case of property, the power of attorney will be executed outside India, it has to be brought into India, and from the date of the document reached India, within 3 months, they have to execute the document. And outside India, pay stamp duty as per the state of execution, because the stamp duty is already paid as per the rule. But when you want to do the same thing in India, you have to pay the stamp duty as per the duty available, as per the duty applicable at the concerned state. And if it is a transferred amount, pay the difference of amount. If it is transferred, suppose if the money is transferred from foreign to India, then the banker, that is the borrower, has to pay the difference amount. The types of borrowers, they have to execute the document. Who are all eligible to execute the document? So this you can easily do it. These are the persons that are eligible to execute the document: individual, firm, HF, joint account holders, trustees, executors, and agent, attorney, club, and association. Legal provisions differ from person to person. What is a legal provision? So individual, he can come and execute. Partnership, the partner's name should be mentioned in the partnership deed. All the partners, they have to come and execute the document. HEF, Kata has to sign. Joint account holder, A and B, they have to execute. Trust, it's being represented by trustees, they have to come and execute. So the legal provisions differ from the person to person. Even if it's a limited company, it has to be signed by the board of directors. What is the qualification of the borrower? He should not be a minor. This is already, you know it, not a person of undischarged insolvent. Person should be person of unsound mind. That is, it should not be a minor, not a person of undischarged insolvent. If he is a person of sound mind, he can get the loan and he should have some good sense. If he is a drunkard person, he is not eligible to get the loan. And minor can be represented by the guardian, provided this has to be approved by the bank's head office. And what are the registration of charges? You know it, as per section 77 of CA Act, charge on creation of immovable property, debtors and movable property other than the pledge, they have to create the charge. And floating charge on all properties, including the stock, a charge on issue of debentures, a charge creation has to be submitted within 30 days of creation of the document. Here, a charge has to be created. Joseph sir, is it mandatory to have witness for loan agreement? Absolutely, it is required. Minimum two, it is required, because whenever any loan goes bad, the court will summon not only to the borrower as well as to the witness. So a witness is a must for all loan documents. So very good question you are raised, Mr. Joseph sir. And charge creation has to be submitted within 30 days. A charge has to be created by the party. It's a limited company. A charge has to be created within 30 days from the execution of the document. And 30 days can be extended for late by paying the by condonation of delay. Another 30 days will be there. You can create the charge. Now I want to ask you one question. It was delayed beyond this 30 days. And if the party wants to create the charge on the 75th day, is it possible? Is it possible under the Companies Act? It's a question you have to answer, because it's a very interesting question. And first charge has to be created within 30 days. He has not created the charge. The second thing is he wants to create the charge for the second thing. But next to 30 days also you will be given time. Can you create the charge? And that is the Companies Act is very silent, because you are permitted to create charge only up to 60 days, first 30 and next 30. And beyond that, there was no provision in the Companies Act of 2013. So this point you have to bear in mind. And charge creation certificate, you know it, you can obtain from the ROC. And limitation of the documents, 3 years, this is a limitation period. And you have to obtain the document on facility wise, because if you are taking the documentation for term loan, you have to obtain separate document. If you are taking the document for the CC, you have to take the same thing separately. This is with reference to documentation that you should know. And what are the documents to be obtained by the banks? In case of, this is just like KYC. It is nothing but KYC. It is nothing but KYC. And in case of form, partnership letter, partnership form, registration certificate, in case of HF letter, HF member declaration, family business details, all these are coming under the category of documents. Each and every paper, suppose if they say that HF letter is a document. What is if you submitted any business of family business details in a letter, that is also a document. So in case of trust, you know, trust deed, KYC norms of the trustees and resolution copy. In case of associations or schools, clubs, then association bylaw, managing committee of KYC and resolution copy. This is what I want to say about the documents. I think if I got any doubt with reference to document, you have to please ask it, because the witness class is a must one, and document should be neatly written, and the amount, words and figures tally, and it's a basic document, and you have to keep that all documents are alive, because whenever you want to file the case before court of law, all the documents should be alive. Any doubt with reference to documents, you can ask me. Can I proceed to NPA? Because NPA is very, very important thing, and one has to understand. And I require almost 1.5 hours time, because you please concentrate, and if possible, you take pen and pencil and even a scribbling pad, because whenever you have got, I will ask you to do some exercise, and even you can do it. And that's why in the morning itself I have sent one NPA paper. You take for your reference, because it is going to be a ready reckoner for you, and I'll explain wherever possible. I'll explain, and if you, after hearing this, and please refer that refer my note, and you can easily understand what is NPA. Even you can circulate this to any number of persons, because this will be helpful to everyone. And is my PPT visible, sir? Because NPA IRAP norms, is my PPT visible? Yes, Sanjana, thank you. And now I am going to the portion of coverage in NPA. So what is NPA? So you can put it, is it non-performing advances? What is NPA? What is the expansion of NPA? It is non-performing advances. Is it non-performing asset? Non-performing accounts? Which one is correct? Non-performing accounts or assets? Subbarao said, is it asset or advance? Is it asset or advance? So it is not an account. Yeah, everyone said it is non-performing asset. It is not non-performing advance, because we are transferring the NP non-performing advance. That is advance as advance, which is also called as asset, but the RBI say that it is non-performing asset. Here, with a caution, I want to start the presentation. Again, it's a very good caution that I want to share before you. That is, non-classification or wrong classification of NPA, you will get a notice from RBI. If you failed to classify one account as NPA, or if you have wrongly classified one account as NPA, or if you have not classified that account as NPA, you will definitely get a notice from the RBI. Members, few members, they have already started to receive the notice from RBI. So you have to be very, very careful with reference to classification of the NPA. So during the audit, you have identified that it's a NPA, but due to some pressure, you would have omitted that advance from NPA. So then you are held responsible. So you have to be very, very careful. This is a caution I want to say to you. Non-classification or wrong classification of advance will definitely make that account, that is, you will definitely get a notice from RBI. Why you are not classified? Why you are wrongly classified? So please be careful with reference to NPA classification. Now, I am going to start with non-agricultural advances, particularly with reference to term loan and cash credit loan, and agricultural advances, direct advance and indirect advance, and NPA technique also. I'll tell how to identify the NPA, that I am going to share in the presentation. And next one is how to face the pressure. How to face the pressure also. I'll tell wherever required. I'll share my experience to you. What is the NPA games? NPA game is nothing but how the bankers, they hide the eyes of the auditors to get the signature. What are the techniques they are using it? So this is a very good thing. I'll maximum extent I'll cover the entire portion of NPA. And I require your 1.5 hours to 2 hours absolute presentation, absolute presence. I'll go with speed. Wherever it is required, I'll go slowly, but I'll go with speed so that you can easily understand. And if I got any doubt, please ask me immediately in the chat box. Don't proceed the session with a doubt. And this is the latest circular issued by the Reserve Bank of India. That is on 1/10/2021. All these circulars are already circulated to you through your mail. So this 1/10/2021 circular, which has replaced 2015 circular, that is June 30, 2015. For this year, that is 21-22, you have to do the NPA classification based on this master circular 1/10/2021. Then they have issued another 2 clarification circular, one in the month of November, that is 12/11/2021, and another one is in the month of February 2022. They have classified they have given the clarification to the law. And another next stage is here. This is the basic definition of NPA. Once one account has become NPA, no further interest has to be charged because it is deemed to be taken that it has ceased to generate the income. This is a basic thing when you identify the NPA. That is, asset includes lease asset. Okay. But it ceases when you identify that account as NPA and it ceases to income, then after that, no further interest has to be charged on the NPA. And this is the new 3 circulars that you have to go through. I think Joseph sir has already gone through the circular of 1/10/2021. Please go through these circulars because before going to the audit, please go through the circular. I will explain the importance of all these circulars in my presentation. And 15/2022, 12/11/2021, both are A, B, and C are the clarification circular. And master circular is 1/10/2021. And here there are 3 important words that you have to see. One is more than 90 days. They use the word more than 90 days. This word you have to remember. Second one is overdue. Third one is out of order. Remaining are okay. But here you have to consider the importance of more than 90 days and overdue. Then out of order. From this, you can clearly say that out of order means for the OD and CC, they are using the word out of order. For the overdue, they are using towards the term loan. So that means for the term, if there is any irregular thing, you can use that it is overdue. If there is anything there in the CC and if it is irregular, it is called as out of order. Okay, now the important thing is more than 90 days. How to calculate this 90 days? That is very, very important thing. I'll tell how to calculate this 90 days. And here, you have to calculate the 90 days from the due date. So this is what the clarification circular 12/11/21 says. Normally, when you go through the 1/10/2021 circular, you can come to a conclusion that the 90 days overdue can be calculated from the end of the due date. But this has been clearly clarified in the circular of 12/11/21 that this more than 90 days you have to calculate from the due date and not from the end of the due date. In that circular, they say that an account is due. It has not been paid before 12 o'clock. When the system runs the account, the system says that from the date it runs the system, that is today the system is run, from the date the system considers that amount as overdue. Normally, a normal thing, what you will do today, yesterday was due date, it has not been paid. So today is the overdue date. But the RBI has viewed in another way that when you run the system, the system generates that the overdue is the due date. So then more than 90 days you have to take and you have to calculate from the due date. So I'll explain. And here, this is what our Joseph sir asked. This is also another additional point they have added in the new master circular. That is, in loan, there are 2 types. That is, one is holiday period and repayment. So in case a loan is being sanctioned towards construction of the house, they say that within 18 months, you have to construct the house. So during the construction of the house, you need not pay the principal, you pay only the interest. That 18 months is called as holiday period. After 18 months, you have to start and paying the EMI. So here the question is, the holiday period is there, but repayment has not started. So how to calculate the NPA? This is the formula. So they say that interest payment, bank should classify an account as NPA only if the interest due and charged during the quarter is not fully serviced within 90 days from the end of the quarter. So within 90 days from the end of the quarter, it is also a clear indication that from the end of the quarter. So the due is on 31/3/21. From there, you have to add 90 days. So all these 90 days, I will explain with an example that you can easily understand. And interest due and charge, and only interest is due and not principal. So that is, all these rules are applicable for period loans. If the interest is not serviced within 90 days from the end of the quarter, then that account has to be treated as NPA. And this is clearly modified on 12/11/21 that in case interest payment in respect of term loan, an account will be classified as NPA if the interest amount applied on specified rest remains overdue for more than 90 days. It is very simple. Same thing from the due date, from the end of the due date. Suppose the due date is 31/12, from 31/12, you have to add 90 days. I'll explain the calculation of 90 days in another PPT. Before going to that, you should know what is a special mention of. Here, from this year onwards, you have to give a special mention account certificate. There are 3 types of special mention. Special mention is an account is overdue, and step by step, they are classifying that account as the SMA. From up to 30 days, from the due date up to 30 days, it is called as 0, SMA 0. SMA means special mention account 0. Up to 30 days, they are saying as SMA 0. And 31 to 60 days, they are saying it as SMA 1. And 61 to 90 days, they are saying that this account is called as SMA 2. And after it crosses 90 days, then that account will become NPA. So the bankers, they will be in full stress if any account comes into the category of special mention account. And the auditors have to give a specific certificate for this SMA, special mention account. So this is the thing that you have to take before an account becomes NPA. And if it comes in this SMA, then the bankers, they started to have a very good follow-up. And because this is also called as stress asset. And it will become NPA after SMA 2. After SMA 2, it will become NPA. And SMA 0, normally SMA 0 concept is applicable only for the term loan and not for CC. So up to 30 days, they are saying that it is SMA 0. So term loan is only applicable. It is not applicable for the CC. But SMA is 1 and 2. It is applicable for both term loan and CC. It's a very, very important thing that you have to remember, because this year you have to give me a specific certificate with reference to SMA. So be careful, because they just like NPA, you have to give me a specific certificate with reference to SMA. And this is the example that you have to go through. This is being clarified on 12/11/21. If due date of the loan amount is 31/3/2021 and full dues are not received before the lending institution runs the day-end process, the date of overdue shall be 31/3/21. That is, from the due date, you have to calculate the 90 days. If it continues to remain, so others are explanation. Okay. So from here, you can understand that if the day-end process ends on 31/3/21, if the payment has not come, so the system considers that 31/3/21 has to be the date of overdue. So due date will become the date of overdue. I will explain the same thing with an example. And this is okay, this is proved. And this is the manner in which you have to calculate. So let us take just spare some 2 minutes time and you can easily understand. 5/4/19 is the due date of the loan. So as per the RBI norms, if the payment has not been made on 5/4/19, that is the due date, overdue date. So the remaining days of April is 25 and May 31, June 30, and 3rd July is the 90th day. So just if you have got any doubt, I think some 4 of our friends, they've already attended the session. In that session, I said from the end of the due date, you have to calculate on reading the 110/2021 circular, but they've changed. That is the 12/11/21. They have changed the definition. You have to take the 90 days working from the due date. It is not from the end of the due date. So I think 4 of our friends, they already attended the session, and at that time I said, based on 110/2021 circular and based on the SMA thing, I said you have to calculate from the end of the due date, and it has been clarified by RBI that you have to calculate the 90 days from the due date. So let us take the due date is 5/4/19. 1 is the 5th of April. Remaining days of April 25, May, June 3rd. That is 90 days ends on 3/7/2019. That means a loan due on 5/4/19, if it has not been paid on or before 3/7/19, then that account will become NPA on 4/7/2019. Is it clear? If you understand this, others are nothing. I'll give time, just go through the presentation. That is 5/4/19 has to be treated as overdue.
Sir, means the one day which we are adding, this is the difference of the new circular.
Yes, that is absolutely right. Previous, see, when you go and read the 110/2021, you can come to the conclusion that this calculation of 90 days, you have to start from the end of the due date. That means from tomorrow onwards, you have to calculate. But this
yes, sir,
really clarified that from the day when they run the system, that day itself has to be treated as NP. I mean, overdue date. So is this, tabular column is, you can understand. Is that clear? If you got any doubt, you can ask. Joseph sir, the other day I said, when you attend the session, it is from the end of the due date. Now you have to calculate from the due date. And go to 8/5/19. So 8/5/19 is the overdue date. So 1 day and 23 remaining days of May is 23, June 30, July 31, and April 5. So 90 days. So it ends on 5/8/19. If the amount of 8/5/19 due amount of 8/5/19 has not been paid on or before 5/8/19, then that account will become NPA on the next day. That is 90th day ends on 5/8/19. So it is NPA date is 6/8/19. Is it clear, sir? Because if you understand this, others are very easy. This calculation you required for the purpose of arriving at the term loan. Because in term loan only they say that more than 90 days, they are using for the term loan. Can I move to the next session, sir? Next point. If you got any doubt, you can ask me, sir, because it's a very, very important thing. How to calculate 90 days. This I already given in the notes, in my notes, which I have already given how to calculate 90 days. That also I have given. So the concept is you have to calculate the 90 days from the due date. From the due date, you have to calculate. Next thing is, these are the status hierarchy norms. Because normally when you do the total debtors, less bad debts, less reserve for doubtful debts. Here it is ulta. That is, the balance is called as good debts. Here the good debt is called as standard, and it remains as permanent. It remains as permanent till, because everything is in order, so it remains in permanent as good debtors. And what about the doubtful debts? So less reserve for doubtful debts. So these doubtful debts have been classified into 4 parts. One is substandard, D1, D2, D3. For substandard, the period remains as so why you said 2 years, Joseph sir? It is second year. See, a substandard is for the period of 12 months. I have put 1 year. Actually, it is for 12 months. From the NPA date, for next to 12 months, the status is substandard. From the end of the substandard, another 1 year is called as D1. From the end of the D1, another 1 year is called as D2. From the end of D2, 1 year is called as D3, doubtful 3. And it is permanent till it is written off. There is no D4, D5, D6. So substandard 12 months, D1 1 year, D2 1 year, and D3 1 year. And if the loan is not, they are not able to recover, then that is called as loss asset, and it has to be written off permanently. So this is a term we are going to explain. I'm going to explain each and everything in my next presentation. Next one is NPA cutoff date. This is a thing that you have to remember. What is NPA cutoff date? If the NPA cutoff date is, as per the present RBI norm, RBI circular, the NPA cutoff date is 1/1/2022. That means any loan due or sanctioned on or after 1/1/22, that account has to be treated as only, because based on the exercise, the due date is 31/12/21. If you add 90 days, it falls on 30/3/22. So the 91st date is NPA, that is on 31/3/2022. So you NPA for 31/12/21. If it is not paid, then that account will become NPA on 31/3/22. In case the due date is 1/1/22, if you add 90 days, it falls on 31/3/22. The NPA date goes to the next year. That is on 1/4/22. The logic is the 90th day falls on 31/3/22, and the 91st day is 1/4/22. So the NPA cutoff date is 1/1/22. That means any loan due or sanctioned on or after 1/1/22, then you need not worry about those transactions. All you have to treat it as standard only. So is it clear, sir? Yeah, I'm going a little bit slowly. What is the NPA cutoff date? This also I mentioned in that notes. Is it clear? NPA cutoff date is 1/1/22. If you got any doubt, you can ask me. You can put it in the chat box. Can I move to the next thing? Is it clear, sir? I think members are very silent. MKB sir, yes. Danny, yes. I think you have to understand. You have to understand the subject. Sir, what if I think Vijay Pradap sir came back? What if it is due last year and became NPA in this year? So so you need not bother about the last year. battery there. அது work ஆகுது. இதே மாதிரி இல்ல அந்த இன்னொன்னு இந்த கவர் போட்டது. What if it is due last year and becomes NPA this year? Sir, you have to take the due date as of now. Don't bother about the last year. I think your question is incomplete. What if it is due last year? It was due last year. Say last year it was due and becomes NPA this year. So the thing is, similar might be cut off for the last year. Okay, similar might be cut off for the last year also, right, sir? So we can say NPA. We need to check from 1st June to because the last year also it is the NPA cutoff date is 11/21. 11/21. Now it is not a leap year. It is not a leap year. So you have to take from 1/1/2022. When if it is a leap year, then that should be taken as the 2nd January 2020. If it is leap year, you have to take one thing. And if it is a non-leap year, you have to start from the same date, 1/1/2022. And from the date of from the sanction, we calculate the EMI till 31/12/21 and find how much recovered if less NPA. Correct? Yes, it is correct, Sanjana. Now you are coming to the point. So you have to calculate all dues up to 31/12/21 and it has to be paid on or before 31/3/22. Otherwise, that account will become NPA on 31/3/22 because it has to be paid on 30/3/22. Okay, otherwise that account will become NPA on 31/12/21. You are absolutely correct, Sanjana. Find how much it has to be required. So you have that point I will touch in my presentation. So you have to calculate up to 31/12/21. Next is, this is a chart for the NPA. That is for the substandard. It is 12 months from NPA. So let us take 5/12/21 is the NPA date, for example. And from there you have to add 1 year. So it ends on 12 months. It ends on 4/12/22. If I put 5/12/22, that means 12 months plus 1 day. So they say that it is 12 months. So 4/12/22. 1 year is 5/12/22 to 4/12/23. That is in D1. For D2, 5/12/23 to 4/12/24. That is D2. And it remains permanent in the D3. So this is the stages. Is it clear, sir? Because this some 3 or 4 slides I have to go slowly because you have to basically understand. And 7/7/21. So 6/7/22 is the substandard period. So 7/7 that is for another 1 year. 7/7/22 to 6/7/23 D1, D2, D3. And we already see that is overdue, that you can use it for term loan, out of order word that you can use it for cash credit loan. And use of the term in NPA, normally they use the word downgrading and upgrading. This is a very, very important thing. You have to go for downgrading and upgrading. When you want to downgrade from standard to substandard, substandard to D1, D1 to D2, D2 to D3. That means gradually you have to downgrade. But when you want to upgrade, so the account has already become NPA and it is in D3 category. When you want to upgrade the loan, it has to be upgraded only to standard. That means the party has to pay the entire dues as on the date of upgrading. Suppose if it is on 8th of April and the party has paid the entire dues up to 8th of April, then that is called as, then that account you can upgrade. And there is no upgradation of D3 to D2, D2 to D1, D1 to substandard. So you can downgrade gradually, but when you want to upgrade from D3 directly to standard, you have to do it. So this point you have to bear in mind. In only two situations, an account will become an NPA. Directly, you can classify that account as D3 or losses. In one situation, that is only one situation based on which you can directly downgrade account of standard from standard to D3 you can write, or standard to loss asset you can write. That comes in the concept called erosion in property value that I will explain later. So here the term is downgrade gradually and upgrade only to standard from D3 to D. Suppose there is no D3 to substandard. When you want to upgrade, you have to upgrade from substandard to standard, or D3 to standard, and not D3 to D2, D2 to D1. Is it clear, sir? So downgrade, you can do it gradually, and upgradation, you have to do it at one stroke. You have to go only, and you have to classify that account as standard and no further upgradation. That is, gradual upgradation is not possible. This is another thing that you can take it from the Circular 12/11/2021. This is clearly mentioned that a loan sanction letter must contain the due date. Must contain the due date. That is, any loan sanctioned after 31/12/21, that sanction letter must specifically mention the due date of the loan, whether it's a term loan or a cash credit loan. The due date has to be specifically mentioned in the sanction letter. In the case of old loans, existing loans, the due dates have not been mentioned. So at the time of review or at the time of renewal, the loan, that is, the sanction letter must specifically mention the due date. So existing loan, at the time of review or renewal, the circular has to be implemented. That is, that circular, that sanction letter, the sanction letter should mention the due date of the loan. In case if you find anything wrong, that is, if the due date is not being mentioned in the sanction letter, you can cover the point in your report saying that it's a RBI violation because the circular has violated the RBI norms, because the sanction letter has not mentioned the due date of the loan. So this point you have to cover. This is also another new thing that they have introduced on 12/11/21. And with reference to upgradation, it is clearly stated in the month of February 2022. They have clearly mentioned that upgradation is possible from D3 to standard. It should not be done gradually. And next is here, this I have already explained to you, already told. For the wrong classification or non-classification of NPA, you are responsible to answer RBI, government, ICA in court. And why not? Even to the regulatory authorities also, you have to give the reply. So NPA has to be properly defined. Here, I want you to concentrate. I'm going to start with the thing, non-agricultural advances with the specific reference to term loan. So don't bother about the CC, don't bother about the agricultural advances. I'm going to talk about the non-agricultural advances with the specific reference to term loan. So here, everything is based on the sanction letter. Everything is based on the sanction letter. So it is applicable for both domestic loan and foreign loans, and see the term loan and working capital loan. And everything, it depends on the sanction letter. So what are the kinds of term loan that the bankers they can sanction is? One for the housing loan, one for the plant and machinery or factory, land and building, or even for the housing loan are also coming into the category of term loan. Factory loan, factory, land and building, machinery, and housing loan. This is three manner they can classify they are sanctioning the term loan. Now we have to calculate the NPA. But the NPA you have to calculate based on the repayment mode. So how many types of repayment is there? How many types of repayment? That is, there are 5 methods of repayment. There are 5 methods of repayment, and I will explain all the 5 methods of repayment. And one is interest plus principal. Interest plus principal. This is the first method. Second method is EMI, equated monthly installment. Second method is equated monthly installment. Third one is holiday period interest plus installment. And fourth one is bullet repayment. And fifth one is balloon repayment. So these are in these 5 methods, one term loan is being repaid by the party to the bankers. So all these 5 methods, for all these 5 methods, I am going to explain how to calculate the NPA. I think it's a revision for the batch which they've already attended. Some four of our friends they've already attended, and it's a revision for them. So here, with reference to principal interest, first method, it's with reference to principal plus interest. The thing is, you have to consider the dues. You have to consider the dues. So here, point number 1, it says you have to take the number of dues due from date of sanction to 31/12/21. Sanjana, your point comes here. And from date of sanction to 31/12/21. So let us take it is 50. What is it per due? For example, it is 1,000 rupees. So what is the total amount to be paid? It has to be paid for 50,000. Totally it has to be paid. Point number 3. And you have to deduct point number 3 from the sanction limit. For example, if the sanction limit is 2 lakhs, the outstanding balance should be 1,50,000. So you go to the outstanding balance as on 31/3/22. So the outstanding balance should be 1,50,000. But point number against point number 6, it is called as 1,48,500. That means the party has paid some amount in advance, some amount in advance. So that account has to be treated as standard. In point number 7, the outstanding is 1,53,500. That means there was some amount due even towards the interest also. So that account has been treated as NPA. So you have to calculate the number of dues from date of sanction to 31/12/21 and multiply that with the number of dues, say 1,000, and total amount due to be paid by the party as on 31/12/21 is 50,000. This 50,000 you have to deduct from the loan amount sanctioned. So 2 lakhs minus 50,000, it works out to 1,50,000. That is the outstanding balance should be equivalent to 1,50,000 or less than 1,50,000. If it is less than that, then that account has to be treated as standard. Otherwise, it has to be treated as substandard. So here, point number 6, it is 1,48,500. And if it is 1,53,500, that means there is some amount has to be paid. So against point number 7, that account has to be treated as NPA. Is it clear, sir? Because if you understand this, others are equal. Others are very easy. Easily you can understand. Please explain the slide again. Vijay Pratap. It's a very simple, sir. Here you have to consider the dues. You have to calculate the dues from date of sanction to 31/12/21. Why 31/12/21? The NPA cutoff date is 1/1/2022. So you need not take dues on or after 1/1/22. So you have to take all the dues up to 31/12/21. It works out to 50. Total dues is for 50. And per due amount is 1,000. See here, as per the sanction letter, they say that interest has to be paid as and when debited plus principal. So we are going for the concept of principal dues. So total amount paid is 50,000. To be paid is 50,000. The total amount is sanctioned is 2 lakhs. So 2 lakh minus 50,000, the outstanding balance should be 1,50,000. That is point number 5. This is the base based on which you have to classify that account as NPA. Now go to point number 6. For example, the outstanding balance is 1,48,500. That means instead of 1,50,000, the outstanding balance is 1,48,500. That means it is less than the amount. It is less than the amount of the outstanding balance. So that account has to be treated as standard. For example, the point number 7 is 31/3/2022 is 1,53,500. So that means there is a deficit. That means the party has not paid the amount as per the rule. So that account has to be treated as NPA. Sanjana, you asked about, I think, one doubt. What is 0.5 in the side? 0.5 is the probable amount of outstanding. 0.5 is the probable amount of outstanding. If the amount is below, then account is regular. If the outstanding balance is above 0.5, then that has to be treated as NPA. It's a probable amount. This is outstanding balance.
No, sir. I asked, like, sir, in the first one, the difference is of 1.5 lakhs, and the outstanding is 1,53,500. So, if the bank says that the client is depositing 3,500 rupees, don't declare NPA. Then what should we do?
Say, as on the date of balance sheet, if the outstanding amount is 1,50,000, you can say that yes, they deposited before 31/3/22, then that account has to be treated as regular. And after the 31/3/22, if they deposit 3,500, that is wrong. Because you are not supposed to upgrade the account. Whenever you want to upgrade the account, they have to pay all the remaining 90 days dues. That is, they have to pay all the dues up to 31/3/22. So they have to add another 3 dues. Because here, is it clear, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Because you are as on 31/3/22, that account is NPA. And by justifying 3,500, you cannot remove it. Okay, if it is permitted, provided 3,500 plus another 3,000 they have to remit. Because you have calculated only up to 31/12/21. So
yes, sir.
February, March, another 3,000 you have to add. This 3,000 plus 3,500 they have to make.
Okay, sir.
Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to the, I think, is it clear, friends? Please explain Sanjana's query. Just 3,500 is not sufficient. 3,500 plus January, February, March. Yes, I think Vijay Pratap, you are also correct. That's why Sanjana ma'am has come on the line and I explained it. Not only 3,500, they have to pay all the dues as on date. That is, as on the date of reversal, they have to do it, not only 3,500. And now I am coming for the second method. Second method is nothing but the EMI method. That is, it's the EMI means here it is principal separate, interest separate. In the first method, you have to consider only the dues, don't bother about the interest. In the second method, it is equated monthly installment. Equated monthly installment means it's a principal come interest. It's a principal come interest. So you have to take the EMI due from date of sanction to 31/12/21. From date of sanction to 31/12/21, what is the total EMI? That is the amount to be paid. Go to the credit side. You have to add all the credit from date of sanction to 31/3/22. Because this 31/12/21 balance, no, it is not there. You have to calculate only the dues and you have to deduct that from the outstanding balance. That is the first method. The second method, just wait for the presentation. In the second method, what is the total EMI due? Okay, it is similar to the dues. That is first method. But when you compare to the payment, that is, go to the credit side, you have to add all the credit for the period from from date of sanction to 31/12/21. So that is the amount paid. So amount, you have to compare the amount due and amount paid. If the amount paid exceeds the due, then that account has to be treated as standard. Otherwise, that account has to be treated as NPA. Here, the credit includes only the genuine credit. What is a genuine credit? That means other person's money should not be included in the account. So from date of sanction to 31/3/22, you have to add all the credit. Then compare it. This is the total amount to be paid. This is the amount paid. Compare it. Then everything is in order. For example, point number 3, that is total EMI is 50,000. And amount paid, point number 4, is 60,000. Instead of the amount is due only 50,000, the amount paid by the party is 60,000. That means that means the party is paying the amount in advance. So that account has to be treated as standard. And in case point number 5, the party has paid only 40,000. Instead of 50,000, the party has paid only 40,000, then that means something is wrong. So it is an irregular portion is there, then that account has to be treated as NPA. Sanjana, I think you agree that both are not one and the same. The calculation of dues are one and the same, but with reference in the first method, you have to deduct that with the outstanding balance. And in second method, you have to calculate the amount paid into the account and compare. Is it clear? Sir, because this, if you understand this 5 principle, then wherever you go, and even after 10 years also, you can be confident of classifying this account as NPA, any account as NPA. So this is the second method. Third method is holiday period interest plus EMI. Suppose if any housing loan is being given, and for that there is a holiday period. So according to my experience, even I can vouch that more than 60-70% of housing loans will become NPA, because the system in few banks, they never consider the holiday period interest. They straight away they go and consider the repayment mode. Yeah, Danny, what's your question? With reference to the second method, you can unmute and ask me.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, ma'am. Ma'am, Danny, ma'am. Otherwise, you can put the query in the chat box also.
Hear me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, for the sixth point, why are we calculating the amount credited till 31/3/2022?
Because the amount due on 31/12/21 has to be paid on or before 31/3/22.
Okay.
So that's why, see, all the payments up to that date you can consider.
Okay.
You can say that 33/22, the amount has paid, everything is in order. Even if that is being paid on 31/22 also, you can take that account as that is not an NPA. So you have to calculate the dues up to 31/12/21. That has to be in the next 90 days.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So in that manner, you have to calculate.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. One more query, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, regarding the earlier query, they had asked as on the balance sheet date or on the reversal date, if they have paid, if the banker says they have paid the full amount, like 3,500 or some amount they have paid. So my query is that it should be paid within 31/3/2022, right? Or on the date of our audit also, if they say no, you can pay.
Okay, I understand your concern. This is the question. Can we consider the events occurring after the date of balance sheet? Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Payment is being made on 7th of April. That is before you complete the audit fully. You can consider the concept of events occurring after the date of balance sheet, but the same thing you have to report both in LFAR as well as in the main report.
Okay, sir.
You can consider. See, here I want to share one of the cases which I have got my practice. Here, I think all the 4 friends, they knew the case. Here, once again, I will tell. Here in this presentation, in this case, I'll explain how to handle the pressure, one, and what is the important thing that you have to deal with it. So this has happened in one of the nationalized bank audit. I have gone for the statutory audit, and it is in Pudukkottai. It is in Pudukkottai, which is around 250 kilometers away from Salem, I hope. And my friend, he has gone to, my friend or he's my junior, he has gone to Trichy, and he has identified 3 crores as NPA. Normally, when you identify NPA, what we used to say, we have to discuss the same thing with branch manager, and literally the branch manager, they used to beg, sir, don't put it. I will be in trouble. My job will be in trouble. They will say a lot of stories. Sir, I will not be given promotion, and even they will, put me in a lot of, they transfer me to some North India, this and that. They'll tell a lot of stories. So suppose if you yield to the pressure, what you will do, you simply ignore it. In my friend case, he has never agreed. Then this manager has informed the regional office. And a fellow from regional office, he came directly to the Trichy branch, and they started to have a discussion, and they say that no, you are not supposed to do it as NPA, and slowly he has increased his tone, and finally he started to threaten the chartered accountant. If you put it, then next year you will not be getting the audit, and we can report your behavior to ICA. They say that you report your behavior to ICA, and I'll see that disciplinary action is being taken against you. So this manager he already started to threaten the auditor. Then out of frustration, this youngster, I mean, he is my junior and is my student of bank audit. He said, yes, agreed for the removal of MOC, and he has put everything in LFAR, and he has not even put on the main report. He has removed everything from the LFAR, from the MOC. Then after that, that manager, that divisional manager, he said that there is one person at Pudukkottai, and he is creating a lot of headache to our region. He has identified 24 crores of NPA. In that branch, I have identified 24 crores of NPA. I will see that he is going to remove it. So in this manner, he challenged that thing before my junior. So immediately after that manager has, divisional manager has left the branch, that friend, he called me and said, that friend, I think I received a question that, sir, can you guide what? Okay, I'll do it. I'll come. Pratap sir, I'll come. And here, my friend said, sir, he has started to say like this, and I have yielded to the pressure. So I have converted all my findings into this one. I removed all MOC. And he challenged it. He wanted to challenge him. I said, let him come. And I asked him about the status. He said he's black in color. He says he has got dyed mustache. He has got bald head. He's wearing safari that is in yellow color. Everything he dyed. I said, let him come. Then after 1.5 hours, that fellow reached the branch, and he directly went to the manager cabin. And the manager has started to pinpoint my cabin. And after 2 minutes, that divisional manager, he came and tried to enter my cabin, and he said, may I come in? I said, no, sir, this is auditor cabin. Yeah, you are a customer. You go and have a discussion with the officer. I made him to think that he is a customer of the bank. Okay. Then he said, no, I want to meet you only. I said, then I asked him, who are you? Because my thing is, he has threatened a junior. He has threatened a person. He has threatened a chartered accountant. How dare he threaten a chartered? Then he said, who are you? Then I asked him, who are you? He said, I'm the divisional manager. So what? For what purpose you came? No, you said you are going to classify 24 crores NPA. So what? That is not your headache. It is my headache. What do you want now? See, my tone has changed entirely. Then he said, no, you are not supposed to put like this. So you said you are coming from the division office. Whatever you say, you put it everything in writing by writing your name, your staff number, and who asked you to come here to meet me. And this letter you have to hand over to the branch manager. If at all you want to have discussion with me, you have to come along with the branch manager and with a specific request for this. Otherwise, there is no point in having discussion. You have to produce your evidence. You have to write your staff number. And you have to say that if you have been referred by the divisional manager or regional manager, you have to produce a letter from the regional manager. Then only I will allow you to have discussion. Otherwise, I will not allow you. Please go away. Then I called the security guard and I told him, sir, this fellow is disturbing me in the audit. Ask him to go away. Then he pulled the collar. I think he pulled the collar of that officer. He has sent him out. Because security guard has got that much of power. Because why I'm telling this, whenever you are going for audit, when you are not safe, then you can use the service of security guard. You can make a request to him because he will safeguard. After a moment, after 10 minutes, he called all the fellows, all the officers at Salem, and all the officers at Salem, they say that, no, I won't talk to Ravindran. He said, I know, I won't talk to Ravindran. Okay, that ends the matter. Then after the next years left the branch because I never yielded to his pressure. This is what I want to say. Don't yield to any pressure. No officer has got the right to threaten it. And next thing is, the next day morning, two officers, one is zonal manager, one is, regional manager and DGM of the bank, they came and met me at the cabin. And immediately I stood up and said, sir, Vanakkam, you please come in. Then we had some discussion. Then after some time, they said, sir, you have classified 24 crores NPA. And in that 12 crores belong to a party. Can you remove that 12 crores, sir, because that will create big headache for us? No, sir. Okay, I'll consider that your request. But you have to ask the party to make, that is, because of non-payment of 1,10,000, 1 crore 10 lakhs, that account has become NPA. And if the party, if they want to come out of NPA, they have to pay 1 crore 48 lakhs as of date. Then I will consider based on the concept of events occurring that. Then the manager, that the regional manager and DGM, they said, sir, if the party has remitted, can you accept? Yeah, I'll do it. Some gentleman agreement. But I will report the same thing in the LFAR as well as in the main report. I will not give MOC. Because since the party has paid entire dues as on date, I will upgrade that account. So this is a reply I gave. So after 1 hour, they asked the party to come to the bank and they had very big discussion. Then after that, okay, sir, day after tomorrow, the party promised to come and make the payment. I said, this discussion, I had it on Thursday. So next day it was Good Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I said, I will not come to the branch. And Monday also I will not come. So Tuesday I will come. So we will give some 4 days time because it's a huge amount, 1 crore 40 lakhs. It's a huge amount. We will give some time to them, sir. Then they said, okay. So on Saturday, I received a call from manager. Here, this modus operandi, please understand. On Saturday, I received a call from the branch. I received a call from the probation officer, received a call from the regional manager, received a call from the DGM, saying that everyone said that, sir, the party has paid 1 crore 55 lakhs, I think 1 crore 55 lakhs, 1 crore 60 lakhs into the account. Sir, don't classify that account 12 crores as NPA. I said, okay, sir, no problem. I will not classify. But anyhow, I'll come and verify those accounts. So Tuesday, I went to the branch. When I scrutinized the document, there was no credit in the loan account. So here it's a very, very important thing. When you want to upgrade the loan, the amount should come to the loan account. But they have transferred the money and they kept everything in the current account of the party. So current account you can withdraw at any time. So this is another important point that you have to say. So current account you can withdraw. But in here they say that, so the amount has been paid by the party. Yes, amount has been paid and under whose account? It is, he has paid in his current account. That has got no relevance to the loan. Then I told DGM and as well as regional manager that, sir, you have fooled me by giving the wrong declaration. I will not reclassify. I am going to classify this account as NPA because there was no credit in the loan account. So you have to see only when there is a credit, you can consider this. Then since on hearing my words, then the DGM from the zonal office, he has transferred the money directly from the current account to loan account. After 15-20 minutes, some 7 or 8 fellows from the customer, they came inside the branch and they go and met the branch manager and they started to have very big quarrel. Because the manager said, sir, please come and remit 1 crore and odd to the loan account, 1 crore 48 lakhs into the loan account, into the current account. I will produce the same to the auditor. After the audit is over, you can take the money. So it's a wrong advice is being given by the branch manager to the borrower. So as an auditor, only when the money is being given credit to your loan account, that account can be considered. So now the regional from the zonal office, they transferred the amount, they had big dispute because that borrower has got the money by paying 3 rupees interest, that is on 36%. They borrowed the money from the open market and they paid into the current account. So they had very big dispute. I mean, even they came and shouted at me. I said, it is nothing to do with me. You go and meet the manager. So here, thing is, you are not supposed to yield to the pressure. Then when they transfer the money from current account to loan account, then I said, yes, the account is regular. I will not classify that account as NPA, but I will do this. I will confirm this only after 2 days. Why it is 2 days? Because one can say that wrong, it's a wrong credit into the account, you can do the reversal. But in term loan, one has to see that in term loan, what are the debits allowed? Loan sanction are disbursed, or interest or charges, and no further debit is allowed in the term loan. This point you have to bear in mind. No further debit is allowed in term loan. So I waited for 2 days. So before today, I have completed the audit. Next day, it is not my headache. As on the date of audit, the amount is intact. So here, this is the thing. So I have considered the concept of events occurring date of balance sheet, and they paid all the dues as on date. All the dues as on date. So we can consider, but I have reported the same in LFAR as well as the main report. So in this manner, you can handle. And I have received 2 questions. And once again, I say that don't yield to any pressure. No one is there to threaten you. No officer has got the right. You have been appointed by the central office, and with the approval of RBI, you have got no one has got the right to threaten you. So, I think I have received a question from first query is from Vijay Pratap. Sir, can you guide what information to be obtained from the bank for this calculation? Shall we obtain bank statement for the account holder from 1st April to 28? No, you go to the system and you can do it. Then we need to calculate the dues from 1st April to 28. No. Sir, Vijay Pratap, you have to calculate the dues from date of sanction. So it may be even from 2014 also you have to calculate. From date of sanction to 31/12/21. You need not go for 1st April to 31/12/21. You have to calculate all the dues from date of sanction to 31/12/21. Then go to the credit side, add all payments from date of sanction to 31/3/22. This is the amount paid, this is the amount due, compare. So next step, total payments. Sir, you are correct. Instead of you are putting 1/4/21, you have to start from date of sanction. Then you can do it. This you can get it from the system, Vijay Pratap sir. It is easily available. They will put starting date and end date. From there, you can get all the dues, all the amount and what's the amount they paid, everything you can do it. But for the amount due, that is with reference to EMI, you have to calculate from the date of sanction. That you can do it manually. But here, when you calculate the EMI, you need not bother about the interest. You have to calculate, you have to bother only about the EMI. Go to the credit side, what is the amount total paid, you have to compare. I think Vijay Pratap sir, have you understood this? You are correct, but thing is, it is not from 1/4/21. You have to take it from date of sanction. And then you read your question, then everything is clear. Sir, housing, now go to the question of Joseph sir. Housing loan is correctly paying by all customers. Sanction letter, there is no holiday, but holiday period is given to every housing loan by default. No. Joseph sir, if holiday period has to be given, then that has to be specifically mentioned in the sanction letter. Otherwise, no holiday period has to be considered. Holiday period interest has to be specifically mentioned in the sanction letter. That's why I said all the thing that you have to do the working based on the sanction letter. So go to the sanction letter, read the conditions and do the audit. So here the holiday period, point 1, 20,000 and 2 and 3. So go to the point 4. That is the total EMI due up to 31/12/21 is 50,000. What is the total amount to be paid? Add 1 plus 4. Holiday period is 20, EMI due is 50. That is 70,000 the party has to make the payment. So go to point number 6. The party has paid from date of sanction to 31/3/22 80,000. So that means he has paid the amount in advance. That amount has to be treated as standard. And point number 7. The point of he has paid only 60,000 instead of 70,000. He has paid only 60,000. That means there was a shortfall of 10,000. That account has to be treated as NPA. Is it clear, sir? Actually, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 all are when this is equal to second method. But the only thing what we have added is holiday period interest. According to my experience, the system never calculates, never considers the holiday period interest. So they say that yes, it is standard. But according to me, and most of the 70% advances, housing loan advances will become NPA. Is this method clear, sir? Third method. The same thing I have already given in my notes. Is it clear, sir? Sir, if system does not show the holiday period interest, how shall we calculate? But it's a very, very simple question. You go to the debit side of the loan account, there you will find the interest. So you have to add all the interest debited from date of sanction to the holiday period interest. So that is the total interest to be paid. Holiday period interest, the system has to show, sir. Otherwise, the program itself is wrong. If the system does not show holiday period interest, then that means there is no holiday period. And if the holiday period is there, then you have to follow the method. If there is no holiday period interest, then adopt the second method. System has to show the if it is an holiday period, then system has to show the holiday period interest. Otherwise, the program itself is wrong. Is it clear?
Sir, sanction in the sanction letter also they will be written regarding the holiday period. Sanction letter will mention the holiday period or not?
They have to mention. They have to mention. If it is not mentioned, then you have to say that you have to consider that there is no holiday period, because everything it depends on the sanction letter.
Okay, sir.
Mentioned, take it coolly. There is no sanction, there is no holiday period, and go to the second method. You can do it. So next thing is it clear, sir? I think first method, second method, third method we have discussed. I'm going for the.
Sir, one doubt is there.
Yeah.
Sir, like we are having a term loan list. The bank will provide the list of term loans. So on what basis can we select the loans on which we should check fully? Like how to sample our loan?
Yeah.
Of,
You can do no. With reference to NPA, you have to do 100%. And
so, but there are many
documents, large advance and small advance. For NPA, you have to do it fully. So for each and every category, just take any loan about 10 lakhs. You just do some test checking, and if you are satisfied, you can take the risk. But according to me, you have to do 100% working.
Okay, sir.
And this one is going to create a headache for you during this year. This is called as bullet repayment. That means at one shot you have to make the payment. At one shot you have to make the payment. That is loan repay. Say during the COVID, the RBI say that no interest has to be collected from the party, but if the interest has been accrued or due, this has to be paid by the party by way of conversion of all the accrued interest as FITL, funded interest term loan, and this has to be paid on or before 31/3/21. The FITL has to be paid on or before 31/12/21. If it is not paid on or before 31/3/21, then from there you have to add 90 days. it falls on 28/6/21. And if the amount of FITL has not been paid on or before 28/6/21, then that account will become NPA on 29/6/21. But manager, now they started to say that, sir, we have restructured the FITL. And here I want to say about the two concepts. There are two types of repayment. There are two types of restructuring. One is restructured before COVID. One is restructured during COVID. So if any restructure which is done before COVID, if you did the restructuring, the status goes to the next thing. Suppose if you did the restructuring of standard, then that account will be treated as substandard for a period of another 1 year. And if you are doing the restructuring of substandard, then that account has to be treated as D1 in the next year. This is the restructuring rule before COVID. During the COVID, the RBI said that you can do the restructuring, but the status of the account will never change. You can do the restructuring of standard, but the restructuring of standard remains standard till further orders. Yes, that means the entire days, that is from 1st March 2020 to 39/2020, you have to remove from the calendar. For the remaining thing, you have to do the NPA working. So this is a basic concept. And here, a restructured account should not be restructured for a period of another 1 year. But in COVID, they say that you can do the restructuring without change of the status. Yes, this is permitted up to 31/12/21. So if any,
Sir, which dates?
huh?
Sir, which dates you said that will be removed from the calendar? Like which
No,
dates
they
you
say
said?
that you need not consider about those days for the NPA calculation. For the purpose of NPA, these 6 months will not forming part of the calculation. That's all.
So 6 months starting from
1/3/22/39. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, 7 months. So you
from
go
first
through the COVID circular, you can easily understand, because they say that these days the RBI has given the permission not to be treated as NPA. What if the due falls on that date? Suppose if the due falls on in the month of 23/3/2020, that has to be shifted to 23/10/2020. Say a loan becomes due on 23/3/20, for example. So you have to remove all those COVID months. So 23/3/20 due date has to be shifted to 23/10/2020. From there, you have to calculate the NPA. So this year you are going to have the thing. Yeah, grace period of 7 days is given due to COVID. That means, Subarasa, you are correct. You have to remove all those days. That is, if a loan is due on 28/4, for example, 28/4. So you have to add another 2 months, not from the October. You have to go to the November. From there, you have to calculate. So all the 7 months, you have to remove it. You should not consider that. So you please go through the COVID circular. You can easily understand. And you can watch my YouTube also. I have clearly explained this. And YouTube video, that is, if you type Ravindran, you will get all the thing. Please write example and tell. Na? So any loan, so that means you have to shift the due dates. You have to shift the due dates. That's all. If it is from 1/3/21 to, I'll tomorrow, otherwise in the evening, after completion of the session, I'll send the message, mail the message to you. You have to remove all those days and do it. So if they say that this is a FITL, this is a COVID loan, and this has already been restructured, and the manager, they say that, sir, our head office has permitted to restructure this FITL. And there is no such rule. If they are doing a restructured account, cannot be restructured once again. A restructured account cannot be restructured once again. So this is the concept you have to bear in mind. This year you are going to have very big headache to face the problem of FITL, funded interest term loan. And if the payment is being done on one shot, then that is called as FITL. And the next type of payment is balloon repayment. The balloon repayment is, that is, it's just like a balloon. You go to a college and if they sanction the loan, in the first year, the admission may be 100 students. So based on the revenue source, the repayment is being fixed. So first year, they say that 1 lakh repayment. First 1 lakh per month. And second year, it will be 2 lakh. Third year, it may be 3 lakh. Based on the fund generated, the repayment is being fixed. But you can follow either rule number 1 or rule number 2. But the repayment is being fixed slowly. Now, the repayment has increased gradually, just like a balloon. So balloon is, has got a sharp edge here. Slowly it expands, just like that loan is also being expanded. So this type of payment is called as balloon repayment. So these are 5 methods based on which one has to repay the term loan. And if I think I received a question from Joseph sir. If they are providing holiday period without mentioning the sanction order, then whether we can make it as a NPA, but the customer starts paying EMI after holiday period. Sir, simple logic. If they are providing holiday period, that means if it is not mentioned in the sanction letter, that means you need not consider about the holiday period, because everything, it depends on the sanction letter. You have to ask for the branch to get it ratified from the controlling authorities. If the holiday period is not mentioned, then that has to be clearly ratified by the regional office. That is also permitted, but you have to get the sanction by writing from the regional office. Now, I'm going to the next thing is, according to my experience, housing loan and education loan will become NPA because of the sanction letter. So you have to go do the audit as per the sanction letter. So everything is based on the sanction letter. That is, housing loans and education loans will definitely become NPA. On my experience as a system, sometimes are not considering the holiday period interest. So, and Subbarao sir asked, what is the thing between reschedule and restructure? So reschedulement you can make before commencement of production. You can do the rescheduling of the installment, and restructuring means, and that means they are giving some cushion towards the functioning of the unit, because reschedulement you have to done before they commence the business, and restructuring means after commencement of business, if any repayment has been modified, that comes under the category of restructuring. Subbarao sir? Reschedulement, you can change the terms before the real production commences. That is, before commencing of the production, the terms can be rescheduled with reference to repayment. But restructuring means the repayment started, but the bank, in order to help the customers, they want to restructure. What they will do with reference to restructure, they add all the interest and they sanction that in the form of a separate loan. That is called as restructuring. Next one is cash credit loan. How FITL will become NPA? Please explain with the example. Sanjana, the loan has to be paid on or before 31/3/2021. That is the due date of FITL, which has been fixed by the Reserve Bank of India. And if the amount has not been paid on or before 31/3/2021, then they have got 90 days cushion. When the 90 days comes, so from 31/3/2021, add 90 days. 31/3/21, that is 1. Then 1 April 30, May 31, July, May, and June is, it is 28. That is
28 June.
on 28th June. So if the amount of 31/3/21 has not been paid on or before 28th June of 2021, that account you have to treat it as NPA on 29/6/2021. Is it clear?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. And now I am moving to the cash credit. So far, we are concentrated on the non-agricultural advances. Non-agricultural advances with reference to term loan we have discussed. I think I have received a question from Vijay Pratap. So, sir, for any type of loan to find NPA method is just to see the total dues from date of sanction. This total dues is with reference to, if you are using the word dues, it is with reference to the first method. If you are using the EMI, that comes in second method. In the first method, you have to deduct these dues from date of sanction. And in second method, if you are using the word EMI, you have to add all payments into the account from date of sanction to 31/12/21. You have to compare it. So first method working is different. Second method working is different. This you can easily understand, because in first method, you have to consider only the dues and deduct that from the loan amount. So that should be the outstanding balance. What is the outstanding balance? Compare it. And in EMI, what is the amount of EMI due? What is the amount they paid? You compare. In that manner, you have to have it. So any type of loan. So this is a thing, and blindly you cannot go. So in first method, you have to deduct from the outstanding, sanction amount. In the second method, you have to add all the payments into the account and compare it. First method is due concept. Second one is EMI concept. For both the things, working is different. Jay sir? Any doubt? So I am always available. If you got any doubt, even after the session also, even after tomorrow also, you can call me, and you ask me any doubt, I'll definitely clarify you. And even you can put it in the mailbox also. Even you have got we have created a WhatsApp group. So even you can chat in the WhatsApp group also, no problem. And in cash credit method, there are 8 methods based on which one account has to be treated as NPA. So everything is, once again, it depends on the sanction letter. Straight away, I am going for these steps. There are 8 methods. First method, I am not going to show anything because you have to watch me. First method, we are going to do the audit for the year ending 31/3/22. 31/3/22. Okay. And that means in the first method, there are on some days the outstanding balance may exceed the sanction limit, or sometimes the outstanding balance may be below the sanction limit. So this is the concept of first method. Outstanding balance may exceed the sanction amount or may not exceed the sanction. So you have to add all the interest debited for the period from 1/1/22 to 31/3/22. This working is applicable for the statutory branch auditor. If you are a concurrent auditor, you have to do the same type of working quarterly. So you have to add all the interest debited from 1/1/22 to 31/3/22. This is the total interest due. Interest includes penal interest and not charges. Interest includes penal interest and not charges. Go to the credit side. Add all the credit from 1/1/22 to 31/3/22. What is the amount paid into the account? What is the interest due? You compare it. If the amount paid exceeds the interest, then that is to be treated as standard. If the amount paid falls short of interest, then that is NPA. For example, here the total interest due is 35,000. The party has paid 40,000. The due of interest is 30,000. The party has paid 40,000. That means he has paid in advance. Then that account has to be treated as standard. The second thing, the party has paid only 30,000. Instead of 30,000 due, the party has paid only 30,000. So that means there's a shortage of pay interest. Then that account has to be treated as NPA. Is it clear, sir? The concept, you have to forget the term loan. Now you have to come to the concept of CC. So you have to consider the last quarter because you are going to do the audit for the year ending 31/3/22. So that means you have to add all the interest for the period from 1/1/22 to 31/3/22. Here interest means interest includes penal interest and not charges. This is the total interest to be paid. Go to the credit side, add all the credit from 1/1/22 to 31/3/22. Compare it with the amount paid by the party exceeds the interest. That means everything is serviced. There is no nothing is left. Then that account has to be treated as standard. For example, in step 1, I put the total interest is 35,000 and amount paid is 40,000. That means for 35,000, the party has 40,000, has paid 40,000. Then that account has to be treated as standard. Otherwise, it has to be treated as substandard. That is, if they paid only 30,000, then that account has to be treated as the substandard. Here, same question. Why the last quarter? That's why I said, see, as a concurrent auditor, you have to consider only the last, you have to consider every quarter. And in statutory audit, you have to take the last quarter. And if the last quarter itself, the amount is not paid, then the entire account will become empty. And when you arrive at the NPA, suppose if you in the month of June, now no transaction has taken place. So from June itself, that account has become NPA. For example, I have taken the last quarter, but if at all, if you go through the account and if you find that there is no payment even from the opening of the month, opening of the year, then you can classify that account from the June quarter itself. You can do it. Not only the last quarter, just for easy understanding, I have considered the last quarter. So you analyze the account, you view the account from last quarter, even from June also you can do it. But normally the considered audit, that is concurrent auditor has to consider the quarterly interest. But you are going for the statutory audit, you normally consider the last quarter. But if you see the transaction, if there was no transaction at all, then you can go to the previous year and previous months. Starting from April, you can identify that account as NPA. For easy understanding, you can do it. If there is no concurrent audit, and based on the account verification, if you find even for April, May, June, there was no payment, so you can make that account as NPA even from the June itself. If the concurrent auditor is there, then they have to do it. If there is no concurrent auditor, you can verify the interest for the period of June also. You can do it. Just for easy understanding, I have given this example. But if at all you on scrutiny, you can find there is anything, no amount has been paid by the party even for the June quarter, you can classify that account even in the month of June itself also. Now I am moving to the step 2. Is step 1 clear, sir? What will be NPA date? Suppose if it is found in the month of June, 36/2021 will be the NPA date. For September, same thing, 39. And one can say, sir, I will do for May, June, July. Yes, that is also permitted. It is not only at the quarter end. You can say that, sir, I have added May interest, June interest, July interest. So you can also you can do it. It is up to you to decide. But if you are considering on viewing the account, there was payment, but nothing is being covered towards interest, so you can arrive at the any date. So you need not, even I went further to say that you need not calculate the interest even for the quarter end. Even for 3 months you can do it. So April, May, June, okay. May, June, July, there was a deficit. So July will be the NPA date. So June, July, August. So if there was no credit, then August will be the due date. So it depends on the situation, you can do it. Then here I have received two questions, one from Vijay Pratap. Sir, if you have dummy figures from bank, please show practically and how it is there from the statement. Maybe tomorrow possible. There is no dummy figure I have got. Okay, I'll explain. Tomorrow I'll try to share. No problem, I'll do it. And could you explain 2.2, a circular of 110/2021 regarding balance sheet? 110/21 regarding balance sheet is right now I'm having not having the RBI copy. Anyhow, I'll explain later. Before completion of the session, I will explain. Otherwise, you can read 2 point because I'm not having a circular right now. And I'm going for the step 2 in CC. Is on one particular day, the outstanding balance should fall below the sanction limit. First example is the outstanding balance on some days has exceeded the sanction limit. On some days it has become below the sanction limit. Okay, here in the second method, at least on one particular day, the outstanding balance should be below the sanction limit. If it is not there, then that account has to be treated as NPA. It is very, very simple logic. If the loan amount sanctioned is 10 lakhs, loan amount sanctioned is 10 lakhs, and the outstanding balance for the entire quarter starts from 1/1/22 to 31/3/22 is exceeded 10 lakhs, then that account has to be treated as NPA. So outstanding balance is say sanction amount is 10 lakhs. For the entire quarter, the outstanding balance exceeds the sanction limit, then that account has to be treated as NPA. The concept the Reserve Bank says, at least on one particular day, the outstanding balance should be below 10 lakhs. Should be below 10 lakhs, then that account you need not bother, that account you have to treat it as standard. This is the concept of the step 2. Is it clear? You have any doubt with reference to step 2, you can ask. Was it 2.2? Actually, Joseph sir, I have taken that. An account should be treated as out of order if the outstanding balance remains continuously in excess of the sanction limit. That is step 2 for 90 days. Okay, in cases where the outstanding balance in the principal operating amount is less than the sanction limit or drawing power, but there are no credits continuously for 90 days. So very, very simple. One concept is I have explained in step 2, that is for the entire 90 days, the outstanding balance exceeds the sanction limit. So I'm coming to your question, Mr. Joseph. That is point number 2.2 out of order. There is entire day, the outstanding balance exceeds the sanction limit. So that account has to be treated as substandard. That means on at least on one particular day, if the limit falls below the sanction limit, then that account has to be treated as standard. And next one, they say that the limit is within the order. There is an interest. Interest is there and there is no credit in the account. So interest is debited when no credit is there in the account, automatically that account has to be set as out of order. Then that account has to be treated as NPA. These are two things they have explained in your 2.2. So it's a very good thing, and our Joseph sir has read the 110/2021 circular. Even all our friends as they have to do it. So as on balance sheet date, yeah, they say that as on the balance sheet date. So what is the balance sheet date? So it need not be on the June quarter. So they say that as on the balance sheet date. So balance sheet date is 31/3/2022. So you have to consider only the last quarter. So out of order, they say that an amount should be treated as out of order if the outstanding balance remains continuously in excess of sanction limit for a period of the drawing power of 90 days. And the outstanding balance is there and there is no credit. Then that account also to be treated as the NPA, and you have to do it on the balance sheet date, as on the balance sheet date. So this is the thing that you have to consider with reference to step 2. And now I am going for this step 3. Outstanding limit is below the sanction limit. You go to the sanction. First method, on some days the outstanding balance exceeds the sanction limit, outstanding balance below the sanction limit. In the second method, the entire outstanding balance is in excess of the sanction limit. And the third method, the outstanding balance never exceeds the sanction limit. The outstanding limit is below the sanction limit. So you adopt the rule of 1. Add all interest, add all credit, compare it, and do the NPA. Is it clear, sir? There are 3 methods, just I explained. Now I am moving to the 4th method. Before going to that, I want you to know what is a DP calculation, because this is very much important. This you can use it even for the advanced verification also. So there are 2 methods. One is stock statement verification. The next one is data statement verification. Now I want to start with the stock statement verification. That is, everything, it depends on the sanction letter. And in sanction letter, you can see the margin. What is the margin? Margin is nothing but the owner's contribution towards stock. Sir, are these 3 methods or 3 steps of same method? Sir, same concept, sir. That is, second method differs. 1 and 3 is common. 1 and 3 are common. Second method is different. Second method is outstanding balance concept. First method and third method is the interest payment. Interest due, amount paid, you can compare. In the second method, you have to consider only the outstanding balance. So the difference between first method and third method is, in the first method, on some days the outstanding balance exceeds the sanction limit. On some days the outstanding balance is below the sanction limit. In the third method, the entire quarter interest is below the sanction limit. This is the difference between 1 and 3, but second concept is different. Here I am going for the stock statement verification. Refer sanction letter, that is, see the margin. Sanction letter, they mention the margin. In the sanction letter, they mention the margin, say 25%, 20%. That is the owner's money. So let us say that the total stock is that is 100 rupees. And if they say that 25% is the margin, out of 100, 25% is the owner's contribution and 75% is the banker's contribution. This 75% of banker's contribution is called as drawing power. This 75% of the banker's contribution is called as drawing power. So 25% is the owner's margin. So refer sanction letter and see the margin. Next point is, the stock statement has to be submitted by the party on monthly basis, quarterly basis, or half-yearly basis. Okay, and next one is date of submission. So in the sanction letter, they clearly mention what is the date of submission. The date of submission may be 7th of the following month or 10th of the following month. This will be clearly mentioned in the sanction letter. Date of sanction will be clearly mentioned in the sanction letter. So if the statement is not submitted by the party on or before 7th of the following month, and if the party submit the stock statement on 25th, that means there was a delay of 18 days. So the branch, they have to charge penal interest for the late submission of the stock statement, or till the date they submitted the stock statement, and they charge penal interest for the 18 days at the rate of 1% per annum or 2% per annum. So date of submission you can take from the sanction letter. And next point in stock statement is two things. One is stock statement, second one is stock register. The stock statement is a statement submitted by the borrower to the bank, that the borrower has to give full explanation about the stocks. Then stock register. On receipt of the stock statement, the manager, the officer, they have to record the same thing in the stock register. So that means you have to see both the stock statement and you have to verify the stock register, whether the stock statement is properly recorded in the stock register or not. And if the delay in submission of the stock statement, it attracts penal interest. Item must tallied with the sanction. What is the item that is being tallied with the sanction? Suppose if the loan is given for the purpose of furniture, if the stock includes provision items, that is all Malay stores or rice item, that's a change, that is the items that differs from the sanction. So if that is there, then you have to consider only the items that are subject to sanction. So you have to exclude all those items which are not subject to the sanction. So this one you have to see. Next one is branch manager has to do the inspection after submission. Then LC stock should not be included. LC stock should not be included. What is LC stock? LC stock, I already said, LC stock is the stock which the bankers, they are giving towards the supply of the goods. Till the payment is being made, the ownership goes to the supplier of the goods and not to the this party, not borrower. So at the time of calculation, you have to remove LC stock from the total stock. One can ask from where we can find the LC stock, and in sanction letter, if there is no mention about the LC stock, you need not bother. The company will not have any LC stock. LC means letter of credit. And if it is there, then you have to see, is there any LC revoked, or what is the real payment due, and what is the amount claimed by the LC man, and that is letter of credit beneficiary against the bankers. Based on that, you have to arrive at the stock position. That means you have to exclude the LC stock. And DP arrival, based on that, you have to arrive at the DP. DP arrival, I will explain with an example in the later point of the video. Stock register is not maintained by the branch. Last 2 years, I have not seen the stock register. Sanjana, if you are not seeing the stock register, that means you have to cover that point in your report. Say that, sir, I have not seen, there is no stock register produced for my verification. So you can comment this point in your LFAR. You have to see the existence of stock register, but you are not seeing it. So you have to report that point. Now go to the debtor statement. Now go to the debtor statement. Just like stock, it is a debt. So refer sanction letter. And in that, what is the margin? Margin means owner's contribution. Suppose if the debtors are 100, 40 rupees goes to the owner, and the bankers, they finance only 60. This 60 is called as drawing power, because you have to exclude the margin from the total debtors. Here in the sanction letter, they mentioned that the debts above 90 days, the debts above 120 days, they will not consider as debtor. So age-wise, you have to do the working. For this, please refer the sanction letter. And another item is customer-wise. What is a customer-wise? Customer-wise means the sister concern debts or associate concern debts should not be included in the register. In the data statement, you have to remove that. So customer debts and that is the data statement. You have to, from the data statement, you have to remove debts above 120 days or above 90 days. Sister concern debts, you have to exclude from the total debtors. And if there is accumulation, and you have to see, is there any possibility of bad debts? Based on the experience, you can find this. And a CA certificate has to be produced once in a quarter or half yearly. So as per the sanction terms, once in 3 months or once in 6 months, a chartered accountant has to certify the data certificate, data statement. If it is not there and if the certificate is not available for your verification, then penal interest has to be charged by the bankers at the rate of 2% per annum. So here I want to give one suggestion. Please do not sign other auditors' case with the reference to data statement or stock statement, because in our area, still some 6 chartered accountants, they are facing the disciplinary proceedings. Still they are facing the CBA inquiry with the reference to the stock statement signed not on behalf of other auditor, signed of the other, signed. One second. Sorry, CA certificate, you have to sign your certificate and not other certificate, other auditor's case. If it is your case, you can certify and not for other case. And because still the members, they are not come out of that CBA case. Because if I go death, it's a very big case. And the basic ground is without verifying the data statement, you are not supposed to sign the what's that, other auditors case. And next point is analyze of bad debts. If there is any bad debts, that you have to analyze. For all CC data statement is yes. If it is a data statement, means it's a working capital loan. All the working capital loan, you have to get the data statement. You have to analyze it. Now I am going for the explanation how to calculate the DP. Here, there's a total stock is there. Total stock is there. From that, you have to remove obsolete stock. One can say that what is obsolete stock? It's a waste stock. So this you can find when compared to some 6-month statement or 7-month statement, you can find the obsolete stock. So deduct obsolete stock, less paid, total stock, less obsolete stock, less creditors, you have to remove it, less LC stock. And the remaining stock is called as paid stock. That is point number 3. Point number 3 is called as paid stock. In that, this is a total paid stock. From that, you have to deduct the owner's contribution. You have to deduct the owner's contribution. And the remaining amount is called as banker's contribution. And that is called as drawing power. That is called as drawing power. Why we have to calculate the drawing power? That means the outstanding balance should not exceed the drawing power. This is the concept. The outstanding balance in a cash account, cash credit account, should not exceed the drawing power. So total from the paid stock, eliminate the margin, remaining is called as drawing power. And now go to the data. Total big debts, less debts above 90 days, because this is clearly mentioned, the sanction letter say that the debts above 90 days should not be considered. So you have to remove all those debts exceeding 90 days. So remaining is called as book debts, net book debts. From that, you have to eliminate the margin. So they say that 40% belongs to the owner. So remaining 60% is called as drawing power. So this is in this manner you can arrive at the drawing power with reference to debtors. If you got any doubt with reference to calculation of DP of stock and debtors, you can ask. Do you have any doubt with reference to this? And I'm moving to the next slide.
Sir, this both is to be calculated separately or both is
Yeah, you have to calculate separately. Stock is different, debtor is different.
But in the sanction letter, it is not mentioned how much against stock and how much against debtors.
Sir, you have to refer the sanction letter first. And if they say that the limit has to be clubbed in the form of stock and debtors, you have to take only margin of 25%.
Okay.
And sometimes they say that the stock limit is this, debtor limit is this, and you have to do separate working. And now you can arrive at the total DP as per stock, 1, DP as per debtors, that is the total DP that you have to use it for the working capital.
Okay, sir.
Go to the outstanding balance. Compare this outstanding balance with the DP. The outstanding balance with the DP. If the outstanding balance exceeds the DP for a continuous period of 90 days, then that account has to be treated as NPA. That is why I have touched this area, because this will also be covered. This will also be covered in the, tomorrow also I have to cover. But if you understand this, this will be useful for the NPA calculation. So here I want to ask another question. Can we net the DP as per stock, or can suppose the DP as stock is minus, DP as per debtor is plus? Can we net it? Yes, we can net it. The logic is that stock we have sold, that will be remaining in the form of debtors. We can net the DP, we can net the DP. So this is a new thing that you should know. Sometimes the logic is we have sold the goods on credit. All the stocks we have eliminated. And we are not paying the creditors because no amount has come in the form of debtors. So creditors exceed the stock. So the figure will be in minus. So this is being represented in the form of debtors. So we can net it. So DP as per stock, DSP as per debtors. This is a total DP, and you have to compare that with the outstanding balance. I have received some 2 questions, I hope. One is from Sanjana, I already explained. And Vijay Pratap sir, DP calculation is to be done monthly or quarterly. Sir, Vijay Pratap sir, DP calculation has to be done on monthly basis, because as per the sanction letter, the stock statement has to be submitted monthly. So every month you have to do the DP, and if the outstanding balance exceeds the DP, then the penal interest has to be charged till the same is being regularized. So DP has to be calculated monthly. But with reference to NPA, if the outstanding balance exceeds the DP for a continuous period of 1/1/21 to 31/3/22, then that account has to be treated as NPA. That's why I explained what is drawing power, how to calculate it. This we have to consider at the time of verification of advances, which I am going to take it tomorrow. And this DP you have to consider. That is, the concept is outstanding balance should not exceed the drawing power. If it exceeds the drawing power, then that account has to be treated as NPA. For some loans, I think was raised this question, and Subbarao sir, for some loans, quarterly stock statement are taken from the borrower. How to calculate monthly? Sir, Subbarao sir, your question is correct. If they taken the monthly DP, instead of monthly DP, they have taken quarterly, that means they have violated the sanction terms and conditions. That command you have to take. And quarterly, based on the quarterly stock statement also, you can arrive at only one statement. And if they submitted the quarterly stock statement, you have to go and read the sanction letter, whether they have to submit the stock statement as per the quarter or not. If it has to be submitted on monthly, it's a violation of sanction terms and conditions. And step 5 is the limit has to be renewed. Now the concept of renewal of the loan limit. If the limit is not renewed within a period of 180 days from the original due date, then that account will be treated as NPA. Simple logic I want to tell. A cash credit loan is there. A cash credit loan has got a life of 1 year. This has to be renewed from the due date, from the original due date within 180 days. If it is renewed, okay. If it is not renewed, then that account will be treated as NPA on the 181st day. Okay. If it is not renewed. So sometimes the banker, they say that we have temporarily extended. We have ad hocly, we have extended the period. They can say any date, any time, but all should be part of 180 days. So DP consider only the CC/OD accounts are term. DP concept is applicable only for the cash credit OD account. And because I'm just concentrating on cash credit, the term loan concept is already over. I already explained. See, DP concept is applicable only for the CC and OD and not for the term loan. Drawing power concept is applicable only for the CC and OD. Okay, here the limit is not renewed. Sometimes they say that we have temporarily extended the due date for 2 months, 3 months. Yes, it is permitted. But you have to calculate the 180 days from the original due date and not from the temporary due date. So the bankers, they say that, sir, we have temporarily extended the due date for 3 months. And from the end of 3 months, you have to add 180 days. No, that is wrong. So you have to add the original due date. You have to add the 180 days from the original due date. This is one. And in my case, I want to share an experience for it. I went for a stock audit of a particular customer, and I went in the month of June 2000. I went in the month of June 2020. But the statutory auditor was gone for the audit as on 31/3/2020. They say that that account is standard. But according to me, when I scrutinized the account, I found that that account has already become NPA on 18th of January of 2020. Here, in my case, the 1 year, when I scrutinized the account, I noticed that the 180th day falls on 17/1/2020. And based on the statutory auditor classification, the branch has extended emergency credit line loan of 20 lakhs to this particular account. And as per RBI norms, an account which is eligible to get the emergency credit line loan only if the account is standard as on 29/2/2020. So as per the statutory auditor, the loan has been treated as standard and they extended the loan. When I did the working as a stock auditor, I found that the account has already become NPA on 18/1/2020. So this customer is not eligible to get the emergency credit line. So there was a contrary opinion, and I classified that account as substandard. And I went further and reported that the branch has violated the RBI norms, because as on 29/2/2020, that account is not a standard account. And now RBI on scrutiny, they found that my working is correct, and they've already issued notice to the statutory auditor. Why you have wrongly classified that account as standard? Why you are not classified that account as substandard? For that, the RBI, that is RBI has already issued the notice. This is with reference to step 5. And if you got any doubt, you can ask it. And I have received some 2 questions. Sir, as for step 4, we need to check up DP and compare the outstanding balance only for January to see. For December, you have to arrive at the DP. Then from there, it should not, for the remaining months, it should not exceed the outstanding balance. That is, outstanding balance should not exceed the December month DP. If it continuously exceeds the December month DP, then that account has to be treated as NP. Vijay Prasad sir, you have to calculate the DP for the month of December. Say it is 2 lakhs. And if when you go to the outstanding balance, the entire outstanding balance exceeds the DP. So the entire, that is called as, if the entire outstanding balance exceeds the DP, then that account has to be treated as NP. Stock audit applicable limit, how much amount? Sir, NKV sir, you want about the stock audit? Now they say that the loan exceeds 5 crores and above. 5 crores above. Few banks, they say that 3 crores and above loans are applicable for the stock audit. Entire outstanding balance means what that? So what is the outstanding balance for the entire day? January 1, January 2, January 3 till March. That is called as entire outstanding balance. The balance should not be, in the middle of the day, the balance should not come down. So you have to take the closing balance of 1st January, 2nd January, 3rd January, 4th January, 5th January till 31st March. If the entire outstanding balance exceeds the DP, then that account has to be treated as NPA. Entire outstanding balance means you have to calculate the daily balance from 1st January to 31st March. Oh, each day we need to compare. No. See, just by looking into the statement, you can arrive at. And if it is possible for you to do it, you can do it. But you can easily identify. When by looking into the account, you can easily identify. Once we found that an account is NPA, then please tell the working of reversal. Sanjana, please wait for the for my another slide. And step 6. Both temporary renewal and short renewal are part of 180 days. This point you have to remember. Non-submission of stock statement and data statement, say from November 21, and submitted to be submitted on or before 31/3/22. Because November statement, if you do the DP and if it is not submitted before 31/3/22, the DP has to be taken as 0. So 0, the entire outstanding balance exceeded. If the stock statement has not submitted for the month of November, what is the DP for December? It is 0. So if it is continuous, that is non-submission of stock statement, also make the account as NP. This is the 8 steps that you have to remember. Even suppose in the month of April, the stock statement has not been submitted. Then also you can classify that account as NPA, because for the April month end, the DP is 0. So you have to do it continuously. If it exceeds the 0, then that account has to be treated as NPA. This means the stock statement should be regularly submitted. It should be available for your verification. This is a basic concept. If you have any doubt with reference to this, you can do it. Okay, line for under line for. And all credit loans.
Sir, 1 second.
Yeah.
Sir, இப்போ term loan வந்து நம்ம கன்சிடர் பண்ண தேவையில்லைன்னு சொன்னீங்க டிபிக்கு.
DP, for DP there is nothing to do with the term loan.
இல்ல என்ன கிளாரிஃபிகேஷன், இப்போ டோட்டல் என்டையர் அவுட்ஸ்டாண்டிங் வந்து 9 crores சார். OCC லிமிட் வந்து 5 crore. அதர் லிமிட் எல்லாம் டேர்ம் லோன். அப்ப டிபி வந்து நம்ம OCC லிமிட்டுக்கு கன்சிடர் பண்ணுமா இல்ல ஓவரால் என்டையர் அவுட்ஸ்டாண்டிங்க்கு?
No, you have to consider only for the OCC and not for the entire. The question is, he has got a total limit of 9 crores and 5 crores is in the form of CC and 4 crores in the form of term loan. And
okay.
Consider the DP only for the CC and not for the entire 9 crores.
Okay.
The DP concept is applicable only for the cash credit loan.
Okay, sir.
Sir, approximate time when we will end and how to make some arrangement for doubt. What's that? Okay, ma'am, so in another 5 minutes, we will stop the presentation. Whatever left, tomorrow we will spare some extra time because I have to cover the agricultural advances also. So far, I have covered only the non-agricultural advances. And all cash credit loans like PC, bill discounting, customized bills, credit cards, you have to calculate from the due date of payment. From the due date of payment, you have to calculate. all credit loans, cash credit loans, like packing credit loan, bill discounting, crystallized. What is a crystallized bill? Say a bill is being discounted by the banker, the bill is sent for collection, and if the bill is not being paid on the due date and it exceeded 360 days or 362 days, the bill has to be recalled by the banker. Whenever they recall whenever they recall the bill, that amount has to be crystallized. That means it has to be closed. It has to be closed. So that closer concept is called as crystallization of the bills. So all CC like PC, bill discounting, crystallized bills, all that you have to take only from the due date concept. That is 90 days concept. And NPA has to be calculated on borrower wise and not facility wise. NPA has to be calculated on borrower wise and not facility wise. So this is a very, very important thing. Suppose sometimes the borrower has got some file limit. Say our Barani said, one is term loan, one is CC. Totally it is 9 crores. If CC has become NPA, then term loan is also, it will become NPA. So it is called as borrower wise and not facility wise. Suppose if the only CC is NPA and term loan is not NPA, so you cannot say that term loan is not a NPA. So you have to add both the CC and term loan and to make that account as NPA. So NPA concept is applicable for both the applicable for the borrower wise concept and not facility wise concept. And what are the other points that you have to consider with reference to NPA is unrealized interest. So you have identified one account as NPA, you have to remove that unrealized interest from the NPA, from the profit. So how to calculate unrealized interest is a separate exercise that I will explain to you. And next other point is after identifying one account as NPA, no further interest has to be charged. And date of identification of NPA is very, very important. In my case, I said that on 18/1/2020, that account is NPA. So from there, that party is not eligible to get the emergency credit line loan. So you have to exclude that. So date of NPA is very much important. And if there is no DPN, you cannot enforce this before court of law. When any loan is not be enforced before court of law, then that account has to be treated as loss. And next concept is erosion in property value. This is also explained later. Erosion in property value means at the time of sanction, this is the property value. Due to some other reason, they say due to railway authorities acquisition, due to some defect in the document, will make that account as NPA. So next one is all the central government guaranteed advances are not liable for NPA, whereas state government guaranteed advances are liable for the regular norms of NPA. And consortium advances, we said the difference between consortium advance and lead banker is in consortium advances, all banks, they in the morning itself we discussed consortium advances, all the bankers they join together and they have a leader, and each bank they have to do the NPA working. One bank NPA working will not affect the other bank, which is also equivalent to the there is consortium advances. The same concept it is also applicable for the multiple bank. But with reference to sublimit, suppose a bank has got 1,000 crores and this limit is being bifurcated into 5 parts, 200 crores, 200 crores, and it has been parked in 5 different places. When you want to identify NPA, you have to club all the transaction of 1,000 crores and you have to arrive at the NPA at the main branch. You have to arrive at the NPA at the main branch where the 1,000 crores have been sanctioned. And advance against term deposit, NSC, KVPs, there is no need of, you do not worry that account has to be treated as NPA, but the outstanding balance should not exceed the maturity value. And with reference to deposit, if the outstanding value exceeds the maturity, outstanding balance, if it exceeds the maturity, then this deposit loan should be adjusted against the deposit. But with reference to NSC and KVP, Indra Vikash Patra, and the outstanding balance should not exceed the maturity value of the NSC and KVP and IVPs. If they exceed up to the value of NSC, KVP, you have to treat that as standard. The value in excess of NSE, KVP, IVP is, then you have to classify, you have to adopt the NPA norms. Even I went further to add, I want to say one thing. When NSE got matured and the bankers, they have to surrender, go and surrender the deposit receipt and they have to take the money back. If they fail to do it, then it is the responsibility of the bankers to go for the NPA excess amount in excess of NSE and KVP. And now I am going for the, so this, and here another thing is advance to staff, normal rule is applicable. The advance to staff, that is the role, I mean, staff advance is there and regular NPA norms you have to follow. And now I'm going for the agriculture advances. I think I'll complete in another 10 minutes and whatever left today, I'll cover as an opening subject for tomorrow. And agriculture advances, in agriculture advances, there are two types of agricultural advances. One is direct agriculture, second one is indirect agriculture. Indirect agriculture, you have to do the regular NPA norms, that is, which are applicable for the term loan and CC. Okay, for agriculture advances, for direct agriculture advances, all the direct agriculture advances are related to crop. And they say that crop loan and non-crop loan. So we have to eliminate that non-crop loan. All the non-crop loans, all the indirect agriculture advances, you have to do NPA working, which you have to, that is the base of term loan, based on the term loan concept of non-agriculture advances, you have to arrive at. That means the working of direct agricultural advances is different and the working of non-agriculture and indirect agriculture are different. And they say that with reference to crop loan, a banker has sanctioned the crop loan and they want to identify the NPA. They say that the crop season, they use the word another called as crop season. The crop season is called as crop period plus harvest period plus market period. That is called as crop season. This is clearly mentioned by the NABARD. NABARD, they mentioned that crop season is called as crop period plus harvest period plus market period. And with reference to agriculture, that is direct advances, they say that short-term crop, long-term crop. A short-term crop is called as the crop which has got a crop period of less than 1 year. And long-term crop is called a period that exceeds 1 year. So up to 1 year, it is called as short-term crop. And if it exceeds 1 year, then that is called as long-term crop. Then coming to the presentation, you can easily understand the crop season as per the sanction letter. You can find the same thing from the sanction letter. The due date also you can mention, you can find from the sanction letter. So crop season starts from 1/6/15 to 31/3/16. So what is the due date? Due date is 31/3/16. This is clear. For example, this is clearly mentioned in the sanction letter. So from the due date, you have to add 2 crop season. From the due date, you have to add 2 crop season. That is, this crop season starts only after the due date. That is, those crop season, you have to comment, it has to commence after the due date. So after 31/3/16, what is the next due date? It is 1/6/16 to 31/3/17. And 1/6/17 to 31/3/18. That means the loan amount due on 31/3/16 has to be paid on or before 31/3/18. Otherwise, that account will become NPA on 1/4/2018. Due date plus 2 crop season. That is a form. Due date plus 2 crop season. This I already explained in my notes in a different manner. By considering the different due date, you please go through that letter, you can easily understand. From the due date, add 2 crop season. So for example, next is the 28/3/2017, add 2 crop season that ends on 28/3/19. Then the NPA date is 29/3/2019. If you have you got any doubt with reference to short-term crop? With reference to short-term crop, from due date, add 2 crop season. Is it clear, sir? From due date, add 2 crop season. If you got any doubt, because if you're very strong in it, then it's okay. If you got any doubt, you can ask me. Please continue to address practical examples as well as thank you. Okay, sir, as already recording will be provided. Yes, I've already one portion I've already recorded. This also I've already put the recording. Is it clear with reference to short-term crop? Because if you are master in it, then agriculture advances verification is nothing. It's very, very easy. You can easily do the NPA classification. Have you cleared this? If you got any doubt, you can ask me. I think no response from the members. Subbarao sir said yes. This I have already given in my notes. Please don't waste time. After the completion of the session, you please go through that NPA notes which I have given to you in the morning. Then you can easily understand whatever I presented. You can easily understand. Tomorrow morning you can come and ask me the question. And how do we know the crop season? Joseph said this crop season has to be clearly mentioned in the sanction letter. If it is not mentioned in the sanction letter, you have to consider the NABARD norms. Don't worry, this has to be considered in the sanction letter itself. And now I am going for the long-term crop. That is long-term crop, that is a crop period exceeds 1 crore. Let us take 2415, it costs 1 year. So it is 3616. So the due date, for example, I have taken it as 3616. From the due date, add 1 crop season. It is a long-term crop. For short-term crop, you have to consider 2 crop season. For long-term crop, you have to consider only 1 crop season. So the crop season should come after the due date. So that is 24/17 to 36/18. This is to be paid on or before 36/18. Otherwise, if it is not paid, then that account has to be treated as NPA on 1/7/2018. Is it clear, sir? Because long term, it is 1 crop season. Short term, it is 2 crop season. Is it clear? If you got any doubt, you can ask me, sir. No problem. Okay, I'm going to the next thing, calculation of unrealized interest. But this I'll do it tomorrow, because I want to stop the presentation now, and I have to cover unrealized interest, erosion in property value, and Baba Mutra to identify the NPA. And after that, I'll start with the advances. So these 3 things I'll start in the morning, because it requires minimum of another half an hour to complete the entire this session. For coconut plantation crop period, how many years? Please, MKV sir, please refer the NABARD. So even it may be more than a year. So if any loan is given for the coconut, then for another 10 years, that account need not be considered, because the crop season never starts. So please refer the Please refer the number norms. Thereby you can get the crop period. And our friend asked one doubt regarding stock statement. Please, for 4.2.4 on I think Joseph sir asked about one thing. I'll come. 4.2.4. 4.2.4. Accounts with temporary deficiency. Okay, accounts with temporary deficiency is that is renewal of limit of 180 days and short-term non-submission of the stock statement. They say that if it is a temporary nature, you may not classify account as NPA, but they say that it will become NPA. It will become NPA if it is not, what's that? If it is not renewed on time, that account will be termed as NPA. If you go through this 4.24, that you can easily understand. Gayatri ma'am, the PPT points are there in the recorded version. You can take note of it. You can when you go through it, you can do it, and from there you can get it. And anyhow, I have already shared the highlights to you, and even from that, from my presentation also, I prepare another highlights and share to you. Don't worry at all. And when that is PPT, I used to change. So instead, I'll give the highlights to you for your easy reading. And 4.2.4a, bank should ensure that the drawings in the working capital limit are covered by the adequacy of current asset. Since the current asset are first apportioned in times of distress, drawing power is required to be arrived at based on the stock statement which is current. However, considering the difficulties of the large borrowers, the stock statements relied upon by the banks for determining drawing power should not be older than 3 months. That's why I said 90 days. I have said 90 days, they put 3 months. Should not be older than 3 months. The outstanding on the account based on the drawing power calculated from the stock statement older than 3 months would be deemed to be irregular. So 3 months statement you can consider. 3 months statement you can consider, but for easy understanding, I have given that example. And if the stock statement is not submitted continuously for 3 months, then beyond that, that account is said to be NPA. That's why I said if the DP, see the November month is not submitted, November month is not submitted, then that account will become NPA on 31/3/22. So for me, that means 180 days NPA. Yeah, on 181st day, that account is, that is if the statement is not submitted, that is if the renewal is not submitted within 180 days, then that account will be treated as NPA. And friends, I'm stopping today's presentation now. Tomorrow I am going to start with unrealized interest and unrealized interest, erosion in property value, and Baba Mudra. It requires minimum of half an hour. And from there, I will cover the remaining subjects. And tomorrow we may extend the time because I want to cover the entire session. And wherever possible, I'll go very fast. And wherever in detail it is required, I'll cover it. I hope, I hope everyone has enjoyed the session. And if you got any doubt, you can put it in the chat box and I'll answer. Otherwise, I'll wind up the session. It's almost 6:45. Otherwise, you reserve the question. You put the question in the WhatsApp group. No problem. Because after the session, you put the same thing in the WhatsApp group. We will have discussion because it is a continuous thing. So because every member is there in the WhatsApp. Thanks for addressing all the queries. Vivek sir, thank you very much for your compliment. But anyhow, you should be confident about this. And thank you very much. I am just signing off from the session. And we will meet you tomorrow exactly by 10 o'clock. And tomorrow you please pass some extra time because I am ready to have some extra time. I will speak tomorrow and we will cover it tomorrow itself. Thank you very much and we will see you tomorrow morning 10 o'clock. And thank you very much for the effective participation in the mega training program of the bank audit. Thank you very much. I'm just signing off from you and I will leave you. I will leave from you. Tomorrow we will meet. And whatever doubt you have got, please put it in the chat box, put it in the WhatsApp group. I will give the answer.